Peace, family. Peace to you and yours. Peace to you and yours. Welcome to Know the Ledge. Welcome to Know the Ledge. Welcome to another episode of Melanin Monday. Real quick, for the family out there, I want to present an up-and-coming lecture that we will be doing /lecture/workshop. I put the call out last on Thursday to the family who were interested in getting the bundle packs. All right, bundle packs right here. Shout out to everybody who responded with you know you know urgency. I would like to say urgency. I want to give a shout out to everybody who tapped in because y'all made me really realize how real this is. Y'all made me realize how serious y'all are about your income streams. And it also raised my awareness to how, I was reading a lot of emails and people are really about to make life decisions. They're at the crossroads, they're at the threshold and whatnot. So what we're going to be doing for the rest of this show is we're going to be extending the flash sale until later tonight. All right, hold on a minute. Yes, we're going to all right. It's a little bit of technical difficulties. Hold on a minute. Let me phones in so we could sound a little bit better. Let me know if the audio is good without the headphones, and I won't even put them in. All right. Yes, the bundle is definitely still available. We have 100 income streams. The evolution will be digitized and Strive and Thrive 2021. And coming up right behind that, we're going to be doing something at the end of the month on Thursday, September the 30th. We have Strive and Thrive fourth quarter 2021. I'm going to be bringing on a professional, a special guest, a special instructor, and what he's going to be teaching is insurance adjustment, futures trading, options trading, and also the DeFi crypto banking and whatnot. So I'm going to have him as a special guest, inshallah, on Thursday. I was going to have him tonight, but I had a little bit of technical difficulty. Um, I was working on my lecture. I was putting everything together and I had the baby with me. I got my 1 year old and whatnot, and the baby's water bottle leaked onto my computer, and my computer crashed. And I've been crying ever since. You know what I'm talking about? I've been hurt. I'm not gonna lie to you. The shit is hurting. It's. I'm kind of. I was folded up in the corner a minute ago, but I said, you know what? I need to just go live and I need to dust my shoulders off, brush my shoulders off, and give the people a good show and deal with that later on and whatnot. So That's where we at right now. I'm broadcasting off of my phone. If we run into any technical difficulties, it's because it's on the phone, so we understand that it's not the same thing as the original setup. No sound effects right now. You know what I mean? We just gonna go raw dog with it. I don't even have the presentation that I was putting together, but it's all good because it's inside of the my hard drive is right here. My hard drive is right here, and as long as this doesn't crash, we good and whatnot. So all of the little fixins and the cherry on top, we're not gonna be able to do that tonight. But you know how I get it. I'm gonna follow up with my slideshow. We're gonna work that out at another date and whatnot. I gotta deliver and whatnot. So this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna do the roll call. I want to see who's in the building. I want to tap into the family that's in the building, and we're gonna do what we do. Okay. Yes, indeed. Somebody said you gotta love the boys. That's right. Somebody says salute to Biz Markie. Do your own sound effects, right? That's right. Shit, I'm the human beatbox. How can I forget? You know what I'm talking about? I'm the human beatbox. We the diabolical ones. We make our own sound effects. Um, let's do the roll call. Let's see who's in the building. Houston, right? During a hurricane, how dare little old me, get in my feelings because I received some type of water damage and there's family out there. I got family in Houston and they're going through preparing for a tropical storm, a baby hurricane and whatnot. So guess what? I gotta thug it out. You know what I mean? Shit could be worse. You know what I'm talking about? Um, Detroit in the building. Shout out to Detroit, Seattle, Louisville, Houston, Chi-Town, Denver. You know what I mean? Don't cry me a river. I'm going to be okay. You know what I'm saying? I bounced back from harder things before. Barbados, Long Island, New Smyrna Beach, Florida, right? China Hills. Where's that in China? Bakersfield, Roxbury, Boston, Alabama, ATL, Riverside, California, DC, Indianapolis, Texas A&M University, Greensboro up in this thing. Shout out to Greensboro, Toronto, Brooklyn, AZ, Fort Wayne, Little Rock, Arkansas, St. Louis, Michigan, Philly, Tampa, Washington, Youngstown, Ohio. I remember something about Youngstown. Is there a documentary on Youngstown? Is that the Youngstown Boys? Memphis, Macon, Georgia, Fitchburg, Massachusetts. Not Pittsburgh, Fitchburg. Planet Mars, the Bronx. All right, Statesville, Delaware. Okay. Little Franklin? Did I say Little Franklin? Yeah, Little Franklin. Capitol Heights. Okay. Capitol Heights, Maryland. Where my guy from PG County? The BX again. All right. Chicago, U.S. Virgin Islands, Charleston, McDonough, Georgia, Delaware, Elizabeth, AZ. Bad news up in the spine. Live from South Jersey, D.C., Dayton, Ohio, Dade County up in this motherfucker. Is that Trick Daddy? Huh? Or I hope you're not down with Trick Daddy and his shenanigans, Mr. Dade County. You could be from Dade County, but I hope you're not one of the Trick Daddy boys. The Eat a Booty Gang. Vegas is up in this thing. Portland. You know what I'm talking about? Activate the super chat. As long as I've had a YouTube channel, I've never had a super chat. YouTube don't fuck with me on the monetization. None of my videos have ever been monetized, FYI. They don't have super chat. That's why I put Cash App up there. That's right there on the ticker. The Cash App is Phil Moreland right there. I've never had super chat. And I'm kind of glad that I don't have super chat because, I don't want to give Google all of that money. You know how much money they take from the super chat? Enough to make them $1 trillion company. You know what I mean? They be raping people in the super chat. So I don't really do super chat. I do Zelle and Cash App. You know what I'm talking about? and I do food stamps. Be more. All right? Be more in the building. You feel me? Look, this is what I was trying to draw my computer with. I was trying to draw the computer with this. Because, you know, if you get water in your Mac or your laptop, my niggas, it's a wrap. You know what I'm saying? It's a wrap. So just pray for me. You know what I mean? Any blurs out there? I need blurs. I need my niggas to pull up right now and help me out. Yeah. So shout out to all of the family in the building. We see you, right? We feel you. Salute to everybody. Love and light to everyone around the globe. It don't matter where you from. You already know we don't set trip. You feel me? Let me see if I can turn this sideways. We don't set trip. We don't care where you from. It ain't where you're from, it's where you're at. Everywhere that you at is that's where I'm at. You feel me? So I'm global. I'm everywhere. Y'all said try some rice. Put the laptop in rice. Rice gang. Rice gang. Is the rice finna go in the laptop? Because the water was up inside. I promise you the water was inside of that bitch. Here go the laptop right here. When I turn it on, you see, it's supposed to go boom, but no lights. Right? No lights. The shit's supposed to light up. The keyboard's supposed to light up. No lights. I just hear the sound. That's scary hours right there. That's scary right there. So I'm gonna go. I'll get some white rice. Babe, get the rice. You gotta get the rice out. You know what I'm talking about? I got some jasmine rice. I got brown rice though. We don't got white rice, I don't think. Use a little salt and rice. Okay. All right. It absorbs the water like a magnet. I'm gonna need a lot of rice. Oh, don't try to turn it on. Oh shit. Use some. God damn it! There you go. I wish I would have been speaking to y'all about 30 minutes ago or 45 minutes ago when it happened. I just panicked and whatnot. I grabbed the motherfucking blow dryer. I might have blew the water into the circuits. I don't know what's going on, but nevertheless. And then I was talking to my whiz, and I was like, theoretically, what would I rather lose, my laptop or my cell phone? Because I realized that we have this type of fucking connection to these devices. I'm dead ass, yo. I had to catch myself. I had to, you know what I'm saying? It's the 25th anniversary of Tupac Shakur. You feel me? I was getting emotional about a fucking laptop. I had to man up. Like, bro, what are you doing? You can't cry over a laptop, my nigga. You know what I'm talking about? You can't shed tears over a laptop. Is there a warranty? I don't. I'm from Harlem. I be in Harlem. You know where we get these laptops from. You know what I'm talking about? This is the first thing you do if you spill water on your MacBook Air or Pro. Hold down the power button for at least 5 seconds until the power is off. Then release the button. It's too late for that. Somebody said Apple don't care. Them niggas don't care. The one thing that they say, if you get water damage, it's a wrap. So at this point, I just need to salvage the hard drive because I had a whole bunch of shit on it. So when I think about it, if I lost my phone, I would be sick. You know what I mean? I got all of my crypto wallets. I got a lot of crypto on my phone. You know what I'm talking about? I got a lot of, but most of my stuff is in the cloud anyway. But enough with all of that. Let's move forward. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to kill y'all with the small talk. Um, First and foremost, right? Okay, y'all talking that rice talk. Y'all talking that rice talk? I'm dead ass. I'm gonna go put this shit in some fucking brown rice. As soon as we take a break, we're gonna take a coffee break, or moringa, or a sea moss break in a few minutes, and I'm finna go dump. I'm gonna dump this shit in some rice because, I need this. This is, I told people before I work for Mac. You know what I'm talking about? I don't work. I don't work for. I don't work for Aetna Life Insurance, nigga. I don't work for General Hospital. You dig? I don't work for Chick-fil-A, my nigga. I work for Steven Jobs and the Mac because that's the device that I use to get money. You feel me? So we have we work together. You know what I mean? I'm a what do they call? I'm a freelancer for fucking Apple. You know what I'm talking about? I'm a freelancer for Apple. Two-factor authentication. Yeah, I got that on my phone. I did not see Styles P versus Chad Ocho Cinco. What was it, a debate or were they fighting? What were they doing? Let your MacBook dry out for at least 48 hours. I got you. Thank you, little goddess. I got you. So I'm gonna just those 48 hours. I'm gonna burn mass sage. I'm gonna do some prayers. You feel me? I'm gonna say Hail Marys. I'm gonna listen to some Tupac. You know what I'm talking about? And a whole bunch of other things. And I'm going to make sure I'm gonna clean some of my karma up. And I'm gonna make sure that this shit comes back on because it's not supposed to happen like that. Oh, it's a debate about health. Oh, Styles P got bars. What the fuck is Ocho Cinco gonna know about health? I think he's pro Jabbington. Is he a Jabberwocky? Was that what they talking about? You know what I mean? That's a handicap match. What the fuck does Chad Ochocinco? All he knows about football health, the shit that they teach niggas that run with pigskins all day. No offense to all of my ex NFL players and you niggas is playing right now, but that y'all don't have a deep knowledge of the field like that, of the field of health. Y'all know y'all know $40 million slave type of information. No offense, once again, but they're not equipping football players with the depth of knowledge that you need to navigate through the world in 2021. You know what I mean? We were all walking around thinking that we were at certain levels of information until we ran into these smart motherfuckers who made us realize that we are really just doggy paddling and we was in the kiddie pool because there's people out here that go super deep. You know what I mean? I remember sitting through a session with KT the Arch degree. I'm like, fam, I'm a fucking tadpole. You know what I'm talking about? There's some whales that are out there swimming in the deep waters. The conversation, the shit could go it's bottomless. It's Lake Lanier, my nigga. You know what I mean? They're deep like that. So shout out to Styles P. I'll check that out as soon as my fucking laptop comes back to life. You feel me? You know? So let's start the conversation tonight. Like I said, fans the slideshow with all the theatrics. I was gonna give you niggas some optics and whatnot, but let me begin. Let me begin. Let me preface this and begin by because there's some youngins in the audience. Shout out to all of the people that were born after 9/11. You spring ass chickens, you young niggas, you know what I'm talking about? Y'all came into the shout out to everybody that was born after the Matrix came out. I still can't relate to it, but it is what it is, So what I want to do is I want to go back in time to September 13th, 1996, right? Yeah, I love all of y'all. Because to be honest with you, I'm clowning you, but you young motherfuckers that were born after the Twin Towers fell and after Tupac died, and y'all are listening to this old ass nigga right here, y'all are in for a treat. You know what I mean? Just the fact that you're tapped into information at your young ass age when you could be playing Call of Duty. You feel me? You could be doing all kind of shit, but you're over here. And if I had information the way that y'all are receiving it at 18 and 19 and 20 and all of that, I would be a super legend. You know what I'm talking about? I would, we had information. We were, we had Farrakhan tapes and whatnot. We had what's your boy Malachi Z. York pamphlets. You know what I'm talking about? We had shit like that, but we didn't have a deluge of information the way that they have it out here. Niggas wasn't talking about astral traveling and other little things like that. We didn't have YouTube Live and Instagram Live, and niggas wasn't dealing with stocks and bonds and options and futures and trading. You feel me? Yeah, let's get those likes up. Let's get those likes up. So y'all are at an advantage. Always know that. Don't be arrogant and cocky with it. The young niggas are super cocky these days. It's understandable. It's understandable. But, you know, try not to be too cocky. Try not to be too cocky. You know what I mean? Don't wear that shit on your fucking sleeves because, be grateful. You know what I mean? Be grateful that somebody cares about you. You know what I'm talking about? Because to be honest with you, when I was young, a lot of the old heads were victimizing the young niggas. You know what I'm talking about? They were putting crack in our hands, packages in our pockets. They were utilizing us for the wrong things. They didn't have love for us like that. You know what I mean? People might call it the rites of passage. I would say that it was a form of abuse. I would say it was a form of abuse. You feel me? We were being abused by older people who should have been giving us some kind of, tough love is good, but they should have been installing the tenets that we need to move around in society. Henceforth, while we gravitate towards rappers like a Tupac Shakur, while we gravitate to the 80s and whatnot, to the golden era rappers like Rakim Allah, Big Daddy Kane, KRS-One, right? Knowledge reigns supreme over nearly everyone. Slick Rick, Cool G Rap, X-Clan, right? Brand Nubians, Grand Puba, Lord Jamal, Sadat X. These were like OGs to us. Why? Because they were not abusing us. They were not trying to take us. Look at what happened, Public Enemy with Griff, Flavor Flav, Chuck D, right? The stories that we hear about the abuse that young men and women were enduring at the hands of some of these classical hip hop groups, right, is indicative of the same type of abuse that was being levied on the youth. Because if you put crack in the hands of a teenager and you tell them, go and sell it to adults, those adults could be people's mamas. Those adults could be people's aunties. Those adults could be people. That's abuse. That's molestation. That's a form of rape. They took away our innocence. You feel me? We didn't know the spiritual connotations of selling crack to pregnant women. We didn't know what the fallout was going to look like. We didn't know that it was going to give birth to Little Nas X and whatnot. We was not aware of that. I'm saying I never sold crack a day in my life. You understand? Because my mama and my grandfather threatened my life with death. I'll talk about that another day. You know what I'm saying? We did a video where we kind of went over that one time. But yeah, they was like, if you niggas go and sell crack, we're gonna get you killed. Straight like that. You know what I'm talking about? And when they said it, I felt it. So I went to be a booster. I started stealing shit. You know what I mean? I just said, well, you know what? I'm going to just run up in these white people's stores and whatnot. I don't want to die young. But that's what they told me. They had to really put it on me. They had to scare me and my brother in order for us not to get drawn into that life and whatnot, because they knew what was going to come out of that. And my mama was like, I'm not finna walk these streets and you niggas is going to embarrass me and my last name. We're not doing that. We work too hard to build our name up and whatnot. Y'all not going to be out there selling drugs and whatnot. So what do? We went and sold clothes to the drug dealers. We turned the drug dealers into fiends. That was the relationship that we had with the niggas that got money, because when we was dealing with expensive clothes and selling them, we couldn't necessarily sell it to the everyday, regular Joe, because they wasn't holding like that. Niggas had to ask their mamas for money. The only people that really had money was the stick-up kids and the drug dealers and the hustlers. And I wasn't selling nothing to no stick-up kids because I wasn't trying to get stuck up. You understand what I'm saying? Understand that what we're saying. So the older generation they would rob anything moving, right? They were susceptible. I'm from Brooklyn, New York, right? I'm not from Boise, Idaho. I'm not from the South. I'm not from the West Coast. I'm not from the Midwest. Shout out to everybody who domiciles in those areas. I'm giving you the perspective of a true New Yorker who was born in 1975, right? Right around the time of hip hop. So I seen a lot of shit. I was 10 toes down, and I was knee high, and then I became neck high up to my neck in the New York politics. I seen it all. I was there, and a lot of niggas was never there. You know what I'm talking about? I was at the parties. We was at the block parties. We was in the hood. We was on these trains when you couldn't even ride the train without your mama to protect you or somebody to hold you down because niggas was getting stripped butt naked and getting cut on them trains and whatnot. I was on the island. I was in a lot of places where quote unquote real niggas was at. And I don't recall seeing a lot of these people who be running around these days. You know what I'm talking about? It's talking about they was outside. I need to see some receipts, my nigga. You know what I mean? Like for real. I don't believe you. Show me some fucking Polaroid pictures or something. Cause you niggas was inside the house. Welcome to the Terror Dome. That's exactly what they called it. Welcome to the Terror Dome. They was calling the streets the Terror Dome back then. We didn't have gangs. We had posses. Decepticons, low lights. The low lights they would rob you and Macy's at the same time. You understand? The low lights would rob you and Macy's. They was robbing niggas. They wasn't the typical boosters and whatnot. These niggas was going to boost and rob niggas at the same time. The Decepticons will beat you with a hammer and cut you with a motherfucking where's my razor? Where's my box cutter? Cause I'm over here cutting boxes. These niggas was cutting you with box cutters. The majority the people that you see walking around with fucking keloids on their faces, a lot of them got touched up by them Decepticons on them trains, or they got robbed for their personal items and whatnot. Right? It was rough. Coincidentally, right? You didn't hear that reflected that much in the music. You began to hear it more so in like 91, 92, 93, with the emergence of like Onyx, Throw Your Guns in the Air, Wu-Tang, Protect Your Neck, you know what I mean? Cream, Method Man, MOP with the Annie Up and all of that. That's when the robber music started coming out. But when you listen to the golden era of hip hop, Slick Rick, they had Cool G Rap. He was with that gun talk and whatnot. But yeah, Black Moon, they was giving you hints, right? The original Bucktown, they was giving you hints that don't come to Brooklyn. That's Franklin Avenue and whatnot. They was on some robbery shit. They was robbing niggas, and that's where the low lights is from. I had drama with some low lights over there. So when you look at the golden era of hip hop with like Rakim, Big Daddy Kane, Biz Markie, this was really about partying, enjoying life, getting fly. They was giving you slick talk through the bars. They were exercising lyrical gymnastics, right? At the same time, they were also they like Run DMC was like, they was giving you Run DMC, they was giving you bars. They was from Queens. So they was giving you like some energy that was like, oh, these are some real hip hop niggas, but they wasn't scary like that. It wasn't like they had you, Naughty by Nature, Tretch had niggas shook and whatnot. You feel me? Naughty by Nature came out with he had the chain around his neck with the shirt off. Niggas was intimidated. But you have like Special Ed, you got like, niggas was borderline pretty boy. They was trying to get some box, and they was really about staying fly, fresh to death, right? They was really about getting super fly and whatnot. You feel me? This is before Jada. This is before the Locks. Jada and the Locks is like 96. I'm giving you 86 87, 88, 89. Yeah, so you got Redman out of Jersey. You got Redman bars. You know what I mean? Bars. He was bars. He was introducing niggas to weed smoking, and he was giving you the funny raps and whatnot. Then you have Das Effects with the multi-syllable flow, the shit that they picked up later on in the South. They want effects. That's Def Squad. That's Eric. That's EPMD. EPMD was them niggas. Long Island. You know what I'm talking about? Long Island. K Solo with the words and spelling out the words. K Solo is DMX before DMX. DMX comes out in 97. K Solo is like 92. You feel me? 92. Bismarcky is 87, 88, right? X Clan, 88, 89. And like I said, I always have to preface this or preface this. Video, music, box. We didn't have to worry about finding out where the rap is. We didn't have to worry about none of that. It was delivered straight through us through a funnel. And the funnel was video music box. There's no artist that popped during that era that popped outside of video music box. Everything came through video music box. And I'm not talking about the box. Y'all niggas out of town got the box. We have video music box, Ralph McDaniels. This is before Yo MTV Raps. This is before Ed Lover and Dre. I don't even know where they came from. No offense to them. This is before BET Rap City in the Basement. This is the original shit. There was what's the other nigga name? Bobby Sims? Is Bobby Simmons? I wish I had my bomb. Remember Bobby Simmons? All of my New Yorkers. Remember Bobby Simmons' crazy ass? Okay. It was Bobby Simmons, and it was video music box Ralph McDaniels called Uncle Ralph with Vic the Kid, and they would be premiering videos. They would be at video shoots. They would be at some of the parties. That was our entry into real golden era hip hop. Yo MTV Rap is like 88 onwards. So that was the commercialization. That's how we was introduced to the West Coast. Sir Mix-a-Lot, NWA, niggas, Bone Thugs and Harmony. All of that was through Yo MTV Raps. No offense to Yo MTV Raps. They have a lot of stake in the game. You know what I mean? Like I said, if it weren't for them, I wouldn't have been introduced to a lot of the sounds that was taking place around the world. Big Tigger, Crazy Sam. Oh my goodness, how could I forget Crazy Sam? Wu-Tang Clan, 92, 93, right? Wu-Tang Clan, but before Wu-Tang Clan is Prince Raheem. That's RZA. Before he became RZA, he's Prince Raheem. That's like 89, 90, right? Fab Five Freddy, pause. That's Yo MTV Raps. That's Blondie from Rapture. He's the one who merges white culture, art culture with uptown culture. You know what I mean? He's the one that crossed those lines and blurred those lines and kind of, he brought the Jewish money in, and he brought the Chichi Man in too. You feel me? He merged a lot of that, and he helped the graffiti niggas get a bag. If you watch the Basquiat documentary, Fab Five Freddy was very instrumental in getting Basquiat plugged in with the Baggington, with the big bag. You know what I mean? Like he helped his name go up there so he could get them numbers the way that he was getting them. Right? We had a black mayor in New York named David Dinkins, right? David Dinkins before Rudolph Giuliani takes over. When David Dinkins was the mayor, New York City was the murder capital of the world. Niggas was going banoodles. You know how black cities go when they get black mayors. You know what I mean? You the same way niggas turn up when there's a black president. Black people, we act a fool when we got black leadership. I hate to say it, but that's it. It is what it is. Pay attention. You know what I'm talking about? Hit those likes. Beat Street was ill. Facts. Yeah, Fab Five was in Beat Street, wasn't he? He was all in Beat Street, Wild Style, Beat Street, Breaking 1 and 2, Turbo, and them niggas. All of those Spit and Raymond and all of that. All of that was in play, right? The drug dealer shit was real big with Alpo and all of them. Remember Mob Style? Remember when AZ was rapping, and I'm not talking about AZ who's with Nas. He put a new album out too. That shit is fire. I ain't talking about that AZ. I'm talking about AZ from Rich and Poe. And these niggas had a rap group called Mob Style, and everything that they said, I believed it because they wasn't rappers. They was hustlers who was rapping. Those might be the first niggas that was really outside, and they was like, let's just put some words together and shoot a video. I remember watching that, and even in the video, they talk about when they cut off Rich Porter's brother's pinky and killed them and whatnot. When Alpo lined them up, okay. When Alpo lined them up, straight out of Brooklyn, Matty Rich, yeah, that was okay. That was okay. To be honest with you, none of those movies, they was mostly Hollywood. Like a lot of those movies didn't really capture the essence like that. Crush Groove was cool and all of that, but none of those really none of those movies did for New York what Boys in the Hood and Menace to Society did for the West Coast as a period piece where it captured completely the essence in a very cinematic, dramatic way. You know what I mean? I can't really recall. I might be wrong, but I really can't say that those movies did that. In the midst of all of this, right? In the midst of all of this, right? Like I said, you had God body rappers. Remember, I'm building this up, y'all. I'm taking y'all down memory lane, and I'm trying to paint the picture about the ecosphere. Thank you for the Cash App. I'm painting the picture about the quote unquote ecosphere in New York City hip hop around the time of the entry of Tupac Amaru Shakur, right? So the rappers that were kicking the knowledge, right? The rappers who were capturing young men such as myself who were thirsty to find out who the fuck we were, because early hip hop had a lot of premises of quote unquote knowledge of self. You didn't even have to be one of those deep niggas. You didn't have to be Sharif and whatnot. But just listening to the music, you felt the vibration. The frequency was different. It wasn't low frequency. It wasn't maybe the highest of frequencies. It wasn't like niggas was on track trying to give you a motherfucking Farrakhan lecture. But they had Farrakhan skits. They had Khalid Muhammad skits. They were infusing the bars with trinkets of nuggets, gold nuggets of things that were missing in people such as myself. It was feeding my soul. Why? Because I was hearing men older than me who are idolized. They were like, yo, we the gods. I'm like, Dad, my father's an atheist, right? He was always an atheist. So my father never put us under the religious doctrine, right? And that's who raised us. So I didn't have to go to my father and be like, what are they talking about? Because I already, you know what I mean? I already looked at, I already had a vision of who we were, right? And it wasn't a Christian. And I wasn't looking at white Jesus as a savior figure and whatnot. I was aware of that through other relatives, but inside of my household, my father never put that on me and my brother, right? So when I heard them saying that they was God, I was like, that's the shit that I'm on. You know what I mean? That's what I'm gravitating to because, I could relate, right? I could relate. So they were dropping nuggets here and there. Rakim, Allah, right? Big Daddy Kane. Big Daddy Kane, if you don't know, was Jay-Z back then. Okay? Big Daddy Kane was Jay-Z back then. Okay? Before there was a Jay-Z. And it's no coincidence that was the first, the Big Daddy Kane was the first dude who really put Jay-Z on because he brought him on tour when he was with Jazzo. He was like, come on tour. Jazzo was popping a little something, and he was dropping knowledge of self and whatnot. You had YZ out in, I think he was from either Jersey or Philly. You had Lakim, Shabazz. You had the motherfucking X Clan, they was coming through with the comedic shit. You know what I'm talking about? To the east, my brother, to the east. With the key, you sissies. This is protected by the red and the black and the green. With the key, you sissies. Nigga, nigga. That was, nigga, I don't know if y'all understand what that shit meant back then. That was bars. Like, we was like, what the fuck? That was charging us up. Professor X, come to find out, he's the son of Sonny Carson. If anybody saw the miseducation of Sonny Carson, that's his fucking son. You understand? So they were connected. They were connected to a real movement because we knew about the Panthers when we were young. We knew about the Panthers. We knew about the impact of Huey P. and all of these niggas. We understood what that was. It wasn't why it wasn't taken. It wasn't whitewashed at that point. It was still lingering and whatnot because I know in my hood, my OGs, they would revere shit like that. You know what I mean? They was running around robbing white people, but they would tell us, you know, that we like the Panthers. You know what I mean? We the white man is the devil, and we out here taking from them because they took from us. You know what I'm saying? And they put the battery in our back. They was like, take from them. You know what I'm saying? Henceforth, why we got into the boosting shit, because we was like, we're liberating cotton from, they made us pick cotton, so we going ahead and we're gonna pick our own cotton out of Macy's, Bloomingdale's, A&S, Gimbel's, Polo Mansion, and everywhere else that fine cotton is sold. You know what I'm talking about? We were like, yo, this is reparations. We was young niggas, 12 and 13 and 14 and 15. Yeah, King's Son, Just Ice, right? These are all righteous beings. These are all righteous names. And they was not talking about selling crack. These are all righteous gods. And there was a Miss Melody, Queen Latifah, talking about she was on her queenie shit. I didn't know what a fucking lesbian was back then. I had a crush on Queen Latifah. I wanted MC Light. Nigga, don't talk about Moni Love. She was a goddess. Poor Righteous Teachers, PRT. They had the kufis on. They was rocking with the Ansar Allah. We saw all of that on Video Music Box. We saw all of that on Video Music Box. And I'm no offense to nobody out there in an alternative lifestyle. I'm not taking no shots at you. All I'm saying is we were not necessarily hip to all of that shit. When we were coming up, we were ignorant to the LBGT. We knew about Joe from Facts of Life. We knew about Richard Simmons. Okay. Yeah, Paris was fire from the West Coast. You know what I mean? He's like a woke Ice Cube. Wasn't he writing for Ice Cube? And then Wise Intelligence, right? True God Body. So I'm giving you these names. King's Son, Just Ice. Just Ice was a gangster from the Bronx who would knock you out, but he was God Body, right? De La Soul with the motherfucking hippies, the Daisies, the Daisy crew, right? De La Soul, Tribe Called Quest. These would be, in today's terms, the De La Soul would be like niggas who be in Atlanta, who be in the West End, who just don't give a fuck, right? Like Rory and them, right? And like the dudes who Earth Gang and whatnot, they be with J. Cole. That's the equivalent to what De La Soul and the Daisy and the Native Tongues was back then. You feel me? Back then. Right? That's them. Right? Did the conscious community die with Dr. Sabi? That's a good question. I don't know. We'll get into that. Right? So think about this, right? We are all familiar, or we might not be familiar, but we should get ourselves familiar with Liar Cohen, right? Who took over Def Jam when they ousted or when Rick Rubin either left or was ousted, right? Rick Rubin and Russell Simmons, right, are not the original founders. It was actually a Zulu Nation member and Russell Simmons, to my knowledge. The Zulu member nation, his name is, I think it's Jazzy Jeff, right? Is it Jazzy Jeff? Am I correct? He was pushed out of the way, and then Rick Rubin took over, who is a Kabbalist, right? If you've seen the documentary with Jay-Z backstage, he even takes Jay-Z into his house, and you see the Fez. He's dealing with Crowley shit and everything. So he's like an occultist, right? I won't say that he's a Satanist because I haven't been in any satanic rituals with him. But when he left Def Jam, he went over to the quote unquote Midwest. He went to the West Coast, I'm sorry, and he started something called Deaf America, right? He started something called Deaf America. And his first artist was called Sir Mix-a-Lot, Baby Got Back, right? So he left New York and he went and then he started dealing with artists that were dealing with the quote unquote, the objectification of women, right? Because that's what Sir Mix-a-Lot was kind of fucking with at the beginning and whatnot. I mean, later on down the line, the debauchery picks up and whatnot, but it kind of started with Sir Mix-a-Lot with the Baby Got Back, 2 Live Crew, Too Short, and shit like that. You know what I mean? And then it spun into where it is now, where you see the music industry at this point now. Everything has a beginning. Nothing came out of nowhere, right? It's just that a lot of people smoke a lot of bad weed. You know what I mean? Niggas smoke crack. Niggas is on K2. You know what I'm talking about? And it's frying your brain cells, so it's hard to remember the motherfucking past. We can't even remember what happened in October, let alone what happened in October 86. You know how many mushrooms I had to chew on to remember shit, my niggas? To fucking bring my brain cells back together? You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, 2 Kings in a Cypher was definitely hot. Right? MC8, yeah. Right. But before Liar Cohen owned 300 Entertainment, this nigga ran Def Jam, right? When he got on board with Def Jam, that's when the takeover really started. That's when artists that was kicking that knowledge was motherfucking, they was released from their contract, right? He necessarily didn't have any sway over the other MCs because Big Daddy Kane wasn't on Def Jam. All of these Allahs and Rakim wasn't on Def Jam. All of these artists wasn't on Def Jam. But the smaller labels began to get swallowed up. The smaller labels begin to get shut down. The smaller labels begin to get folded up, right? And the bigger label that started popping when Run DMC started rocking with Aerosmith, right? Walk This Way. And then when they grabbed up remember LL Cool J, right? He's the new face of it, right? He's not kicking no knowledge. He's a sex symbol, and he's giving you pure commercial rap, right? Shout out to LL Cool J because he was that dude, right? He was giving us Drake vibes back in the days because he was the illest love song rap is I Need Love. Let's be clear. It's nothing that Drake ever made could fuck with I Need Love. Okay? No offense to Champagne Poppy. But there's nothing that this nigga wrote that will impact the way that I Need Love. Roundaway Girl, Roundaway Girl, I Need Love, LL Cool, and he had bars. I'm sorry. See, I'm trying to throw LL under the bus. This nigga had a pen, right? And he was running down on niggas. He folded up Kumo D. He folded up my guy Kumo D. Did he fold up Cannabis? He folded up Cannabis, to my recollection. Okay? Right? Third Base, right? White rapper, right? MC Search, Third Base, right? White rappers. They was punking Third Base, right? And MC Search and the rap group Third Base, they was chill with the guards. They was fucking with MF Doom when he was on PMD. These was white dudes who was so cool that you forgot that they was white. They came out with the song Gas Face. And they was shitting on the Beastie Boys because after Run DMC, LL Cool J and all of that, then they gave us the Beastie Boys. I never fucked with the Beastie Boys. I never understood what that was. I thought it was a spoof. I was like, who the fuck are these niggas? Why are they here? Right? But that's Liar Cohen. That's the whitewashing. That's the commercialization. That's that's them feeding their investors and whatnot and making hip hop more commercially acceptable. Because during this whole time that I'm telling you about, of all of these artists and all of these names and all of these quote unquote during what is known as the golden era, your mama would tell you turn that shit off. Why? Because the same shit that she's doing right now, watching fucking CNN and the goddamn mainstream media news, and she's under the fucking wings of the deodorant of some white people on Fox 5, CNN, and MSNBC. She's a fucking Rachel Maddow parrot. That's the same thing that they was doing back in the days. You know what I'm talking about? They was under the deodorant of white folk, and they was under the motherfucking, they anything the white folks said wasn't good, niggas' parents was repeating that. That's a fact. Okay? That's a fact. Oh, doing it and doing it and doing it well. You know, you see the movies where niggas be like, turn that secular music off. When black people were singing the blues, I had a whole presentation about race music, the fucking Chitlin circuit. I was gonna give you the race music. I was gonna go back into the 1800s with Jim Crow music, race music. I was gonna walk you through this shit, but we'll do it right. Niggas' parents was acting like Bill Cosby. You know what I'm talking about? Back in the days, they was on some boule bougie shit, right? Talking about turn that secular music off. The same way when niggas was listening to slave spirituals and blues, and then the jazz started coming around. Turn that slave. That's the devil's music. And then niggas start listening to jazz music. Then they start listening to gospel and jazz music. Then they started listening to soul music, where the music helped niggas ease up on the buns a little closer. What does music help you do? It helps you get some box. You know what I'm talking about? So they was like, oh, that's secular music. That's the devil's music. Turn that off. And then when James Brown started dancing and all of that stuff, and he started speaking in tongues and everything, that was the devil's music. Niggas' parents was, niggas' great grandparents, turn that off. That's, oh my God, you can't play that in the motherfucking Cadillac. You know what I mean? Then Curtis Mayfield with the dope fiend music. Then, you know, the musicians that was on heroin and whatnot. Niggas' parents wasn't having that. You couldn't listen to that shit. Remember they had juke joints. They had to sneak out and listen to this shit, swing music and all of that. They had to, you know what I'm saying, where the girls was dance, you know, with your great grandmother or your grandma, she was dancing with the motherfucking mini skirt, with the long skirt, but then it was becoming, you know that, you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. And niggas had the conks and whatnot with the zoot suits, and they was trying to cut something. That part, and the music played a big part in that. You know what I'm talking about? And throughout time, this is a pattern. I'm a parent right now. I'm telling my daughter, turn that shit off. That's the devil's music. That's you can't play Little Nas X in this house. You know what I mean? Shit like that. You know what I'm talking about? Is that Chloe Bailey? Turn that off. You know what I'm saying? Like, as a parent, I understand, but this cycle continues, right? And who's always behind that? The small hats. They were the ones always behind pushing the envelope. They were always the ones behind pushing that envelope. You feel me? They were always the ones behind pushing the quote unquote. They were always the ones. They can't do it in their households. They wasn't doing it in their culture. They was doing it in ours though. The small hats, you know, what they call the rental. What do they call them? The rental agents. Is that what Black Dot calls them? The real estate agents. I'm sorry. You know what I'm talking about, right? The real estate agents, right? They were the ones who were the lawyers. They were the managers. They were the label heads. They were the distributors. and the mafia as well, the Italian mafia and the Jewish mafia. They were there. Yeah, Rick James. Turn that Rick James off. God, that's the devil's music. I'm talking about. I don't want to hear that shit. Right? So, of course, when niggas like Jazzy Jeff came along, your parents was like, oh, you can listen to that. Right? And when MC Hammer started doing a hammer dance, too legit to quit. You can listen to that. Run DMC, you can listen to that. You know what I mean? A little bit of LL maybe. You can listen to that. Henceforth, why it was so important, Kid and Play and whatnot, that's why those artists crossed over into like TV and whatnot. And when they crossed over into TV, the parents of the youth who were listening to them began to soften up and say, oh, they're not that bad. Look at Will Smith. He's acting, and they were familiar with the cast of the older people from their era and whatnot. And then the movie started coming out. So then when they probably see Ice Cube and Boys in the Hood, even though that movie was kind of graphic and kind of edgy and whatnot, it was still delivered in a way where people's parents could understand what this is about a little bit more. Yeah, parents just don't understand, right? And when Will Smith came out with Parents Just Don't Understand, that's why that shit went multi-platinum. He hit a fucking lick because he was speaking he hit an accord because we were really, I promise you niggas that was born after the towers fell, you probably saying, what the fuck is this nigga talking about? What is he like? What is he talking about? I'm here to let you know that there was a day and a time where you could get your ass whooped with an extension cord, right? You would get the switch. Like you would get your tape deck popped if your parents walked in on you and you was listening to rap music at one point. You would get your ass whoopington. Don't get it fucked up. That shit was outlawed by mad people's parents, bro. It was not welcome into the household like that. It was not welcome into the household. That was rebel music. That was outlaw music. That was rebel music. Okay? They turned their noses up to that shit. The old heads look down on that shit. They spit on us. You feel me? They spit on us. But while they was doing all of the spitting on us, was they teaching us generational wealth? Were they teaching us the fucking stock market? Were they teaching us trades and whatnot? I'm just questioning. I'm wondering. You know what I mean? They were smoking crack. A lot of them. They were falling victim to their demons. They were falling victim to their quote unquote wanting to experience what cocaine was like. Not all. I'm not judging. I'm not painting nobody with a broad brush, but it was a lot of them that fell to the motherfucking the plague or the quote unquote scourge of the drugs, and created what is known as the latchkey kids, and created a whole generation of children who raised themselves with no respect for their parents. And then who wound up raising these children when they lost respect for their parents? Tupac Shakur, nigga. Christopher Wallace, nigga. Okay? These were the niggas that picked up the pieces and whatnot. Tupac Shakur hits the scene in 1991. I remember what the fuck I was wearing when I was watching Video Music Box, and they came and it was a Digital Underground video, and they came carrying this nigga out on a carpet or whatever the fuck they was carrying him out on, and this nigga started rapping. He had a fucking dashiki on, and I was like, oh, who is this? And then right after that, a few months later, this nigga was at a pool party with his shirt off, talking about I get around with mad broads around him. I'm like, I'm confused. You know what I'm talking about? What the fuck is going on? I thought Sharif wasn't into girls because, the deep niggas, they wasn't taking their shirts off like that. Either you was on your LL Cool J, you was going to take your shirt off, you was a ladies' man, or you was on, you was wearing your dashiki, you was in 3/4 of cloth with a nose ring, talking about peace, beloved. You know what I mean? But this nigga, his first video was same song, been all around the world, the same song, right? Oh, thank you. I'm sorry. Then after same song, Brenda got a baby, right? Brenda got a baby. Now, I want to explain the impact of Brenda got a baby and how that solidified the run for Tupac Shakur to be the motherfucking GOAT, right? Brenda got a baby. Remember, this is a New York nigga, right? No offense to you West Coasters. This is a New York nigga. New Tupac Shakur. This is a New York nigga from the Bronx. Okay? Let's be clear. It's a New Yorker. Because everybody wants to remember Tupac after he came out of jail, right? There's two Tupac Shakurs. There's Tupac before Rikers Island, before he went up north, and there's Tupac after up north. Okay? These are the two sides of Tupac. These are the two Tupacs, right? There's a Tupac before he went to jail for rape, and there's a Tupac after he gets bailed out by Suge Knight and becomes part of Death Row and goes on I think a 1 or 2 year run before the fucking Crips kill him. We're gonna talk about that as well, right? So the Tupac that we know, this is before Juice, my niggas. This is before Bishop. The Tupac that we know, and we identified him as a New York rapper because he's from New York. Okay? He's from New York. All right? Let's be clear. He was an artist that moved around. He's a fucking roadie, right? He was a roadie for Digital Underground. But when we saw Brenda Got a Baby, we understood the swag, right? Then he came out with Trapped. He said, I'm trapped, right? So I'm picking up militant vibes. I'm picking up, oh, this nigga is like Ice Cube. I don't even know if Ice Cube was out at that point, right? Ice Cube, early Ice Cube NWA is a problem. Militant pen, right? Oh, matter of fact, I think by 91, Ice Cube is solo at that point. At that point, Ice Cube might be solo with America's Most Wanted. So Ice Cube personifies street consciousness. What is street consciousness? Street consciousness is a person who's in the streets and he's conscious, right? We were familiar with that from the artists, like I said, who came out of New York because Rakim Allah was street conscious. He was with the real 50 Cent, right? He was with 50 Cent. He was with Rap. He was with Jesus and all of them. These are Fort Greene legends. These are drug dealers, killers. These are street legends, right? On the back of his album, this nigga's chilling with them. So I'm like, and Eric B is a stone cold gangster, right? So I'm like, damn, Big Daddy Kane, he from Bed-Stuy. King Asiatic, Nobody Equal and whatnot. Straight gangster, right? That's how it appeared to us when we was young. But this nigga got knowledge of self. And like I said, Big Daddy Kane was the Jay-Z of those eras. Throughout all of the artists, there was nobody bigger than Big Daddy Kane. Okay? That's why him and Rakim, they should have a versus because they always had this contention and whatnot. And we're talking 86, we're talking 87, we're talking 88 and whatnot. Big Daddy Kane is the biggest nigga in New York at that time. Okay? Big Daddy Kane is him. He's him. He's him. Let's be clear. He's him until he ran into Madonna. Right? Everybody is popping. Everybody is lit. Everybody got great songs. Everybody is selling and whatnot. Everybody is making you dance. Everybody got bars. Every nigga is a star. Right? But some niggas are constellations. Shout out to Blue Pill. Right? So everybody was popping. Big Daddy Kane was shining. Dougie Fresh was shining. Slick Rick was shining. You name it. Cool G Rap was shining. Remember the Symphony? What's my nigga name? Greg G was shining. Everybody was shining. Latifah was shining. Naughty by Nature was shining. Everybody was shining. But that the dude who everybody was paying attention to, could do no wrong, Big Daddy Kane. Craig G, right. Big Daddy Kane. Scoob and Scrap Lover with the dancers, 3 cuts in your eyebrows, trying to wild out. Heavy D was popping. The Juice Crew was popping. Everybody was popping. Master Ace was popping. Everybody was shining. It wasn't like you could. It wasn't like only one person could shine. Greg Nice, Smooth B was shining. It takes two to make. Rob Bass was shining. Everybody was popping. He ran into that white Becky with that graveyard box, and that she fucking she zapped his ass. Henceforth, while she's still able to pop up at award shows with some type of vigor and whatnot, cause she got niggas souls in a mason jar. She did the same thing to Tupac Shakur. Facts. You niggas watch out for the Beckys that's out there, in the game right now and whatnot. Don't be running around with Iggy Azalea. You know what I'm talking about? Acting like you doing something, cause that's not it, bro. You know what I'm talking about? That's not it. They out here on some Kardashian shit, graveyard pussy. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, putting niggas in mason jars. So when she got her fangs on these niggas, they was never the same. Vampire Box, Vampire Diaries. Okay? Oh, EST, the unusual fellow. Schoolie D, Cool C. These are Philly dudes, gangsters. Right? So, yeah, Amber Rose, shit like that. Right? Dougie Fresh and Slick Rick had the top song for 2 years. Lottie Dottie, the show, 6 minutes, Dougie Fresh, you're on. That was the biggest song for like 2 years, right? So even though, like I said, Big Daddy Kane was him, but he didn't have always the biggest songs. But to me, I'm from Brooklyn. Like I said, I'm biased. I'm biased. There's probably niggas just listening from Harlem hate me right now. Nigga, I'm biased. I'm not gonna give it up to none of your artists from your city or your borough. I'm biased. Nigga, we had it. Okay. I'm just gonna tell it how it is. It was him. He was him. Chub Rock. So now the West Coast niggas is emerging, right? The first niggas that popped out that really had niggas in the panties in a bunch, from what I can remember, is NWA, Express Yourself and Fuck the Police. Prior to that, Easy E had his thing bubbling and whatnot, but he's not that big of a lyricist. We just felt the wave and whatnot. We was like, oh, these niggas got a wave. But when we heard Ice Cube spitting, we was like, oh yeah, these niggas they've been studying. They've been studying shit, right? How often did artists drop music back then? You probably got an album once a year. You feel me? And you got singles and whatnot. They wasn't big on remixes and shit. But the albums, to be honest with you, the albums had about 7 or 8 singles on them. There wasn't a lot of, the albums didn't have too much filler and whatnot. The albums was somewhat solid. You know? Is the real DOC was that nigga. If DOC never got into that car accident, he would have did his thing. But DOC, I believe, comes a little bit later. But it was all about Ice Cube. When Ice Cube went solo, he linked up with the Bomb Squad, who was the producers of Public Enemy, Hank Shockley and them. They gave that nigga a sound, and he took off. America's Most Wanted, Kill at Will, Death Certificate. He's that nigga. O'Shea Jackson is him. His pen is crazy, right? But Tupac Shakur. Now, keep in mind, I have to remind people, Tupac was hated for a very long time. Tupac was hated by the industry for a very long time. Tupac was an enigma for a very long time. Tupac was the nigga with the big mouth for a very long time. Tupac was the outspoken, bald-headed nigga who didn't have bars like that for a very long time. You understand? You got to remember that. And when he came out in 1991, he came out in the midst of a lot of other artists who were already popping and bells were ringing. It ain't like when he came out, he automatically went to the front of the line and whatnot. I Get Around, that shit had people looking like, hold on. Because like I said, he had a string of conscious hits, right? He put out a Strictly for My Niggas. That was like, you know, we wearing Timbs, we smoking. If we go to a Tupac party, it might be a sausage fest, a sword fight. You know what I mean? A bunch of niggas. You know what I mean? You bound to get robbed and whatnot, because the niggas with the army suits and the motherfucking hoodies is gonna be up in there, because that's the type of energy that's the type of music and the energy that was attracted to, right? Then he did I Get Around with the shorties on the West Coast. This nigga's having fun. And he got jewels on. This nigga got the shirt off. He got tattoos. You know what I'm talking about? He chasing shorties with you know with you know with some nice bodies. Niggas was like, hold on, who's this? I didn't even remember that was the nigga from Brenda's Got a Baby. I'm like, this nigga looks like homie, but my brother Paul Blue Pill was like, no, that's homie from Brenda's Got a Baby. I'm like, well, goddamn it! Now I see how Brenda got a baby. This nigga's the one giving her the babies. You know what I'm talking about? And he kind of, but if you realize, if you pay attention, he wasn't on a lot of artist songs. Niggas wasn't getting them on the remixes. They wasn't putting them on their albums like that. They wasn't running around saying we need Tupac on the album and whatnot. He started building his name up, right? Tupac becomes that nigga after Juice comes out. Not to say that he wasn't before that, but his motherfucking star shine brighter than any nigga that I can remember who was a rapper turned actor playing a role like he did that, right? Bishop is a character, and he left. He didn't leave that nigga on the editing floor. He didn't leave him in the trailer. He didn't leave him back at the motherfucking movie studio. He took that nigga with him. Okay, he took Bishop with him. So the music that comes out after that, right? Pain from the soundtrack of the motherfucking Above the Rim, the shit that he did with Spice One, bro. This nigga gets in his bag. He gets in his bag. I'm talking about he's in his baggington. He's in his bag. His wave is crazy at this point. His wave is crazy. So this is like 92. This is like 92. This nigga's in his bag. And the game is changing. There's no more Big Daddy Kane. That whole sound is done with. That the OG, the golden era is done. Slick Rick is locked up, I believe. You know, the Big Daddy Kanes, the Bismarckies, all of them, they start fading out. Right? They start fading out a bit. This is not true. Pac did not take Bishop with him. Well, what happened then? You let me know, Darkest Night. What happened then? What happened? Let me know if he didn't take him with him. What the fuck happened? Because before Bishop, he wasn't on Bishop's type of energy like that. He was still Tupac, but anybody will let you know that role changed him forever and that this nigga was running with the Bishop energy. Okay? Let's stop it. You probably 13 or something. But anyway, so this is an interesting time, 92, right? You got artists like Ill and Al Scratch. You got artists like motherfucking Father MC. You got Heavy D popping. CO Smoothing and popping. DOS Effects, you know, the Def Squad, shit like that. This is a turning period, right? There's a fucking soundtrack called Who's the Man, right? A movie with Ed Lover and Dr. Dre. It comes out. There's a song on it called Party and Bullshit, right? There's an artist called Biggie Smalls, right? That artist, when they drop that shit, yeah, Big Pun in them is popping, right? When they drop that shit, then keep in mind, this is 92, so this is the Wu-Tang, this is the beginning of the Wu-Tang era, right? And what does the Wu-Tang era signify? And what's the look of the Wu-Tang era? So, my bad. You got Onyx, Throw Your Guns in the Air. Russell Simmons, once again, Def Jam, which is becoming one of the staples in hip hop, is becoming the quote unquote premier label of the East Coast, right? This is the premier label of the East Coast, right? So Russell Simmons does something. He does now Pac brought Bishop with him. Okay. So Russell Simmons tries out a new genre, right? He tries out a new genre and it's called horrorcore, right? Horrorcore. Yes, Diamond D and them is popping. It's a lot. Nigga, Fat Joe was popping in 92. You gotta flow, Joe. You gotta flow, Joe. You gotta. Nigga, Fat Joe is popping. Diamond D is popping. You know what I'm talking about? Showbiz and AG is popping, right? But this is a pivotal point. This is a turning of sound. This is a turning of sound. You get Jodeci. There's a new R&B sound. It's called a New Jack Swing, and it's another sound with Jodeci, Mary J. Blige. These niggas are singing R&B wearing Timberlands, my nigga. These niggas are singing R&B with wearing Timbs. Okay? The nigga R. Kelly is with the nigga R. Kelly is wearing a vest with no shirt, right? Public announcement. You got Guy and whatnot. Aaron Hall, who R. Kelly jacked his style. It's hip hop is becoming infused into mad shit. Hip hop. And who's behind a lot of that? Sean Combs, right? He's changing the sound. He's infusing, he's merging, he's basically layering hip hop into R&B to whereas you don't really have a distinction anymore. This don't sound like Whitney Houston's R&B. This don't sound like your mama's Luther, my nigga. It's different. Okay? Mary J comes on the scene. She with Real Love and all of that. The shorties, they start wilding. You know what I'm talking about? They went from innocent to non-innocent overnight. She's giving them, she's putting batteries in their back to act a fucking to act a fool, to act strange for a piece of change. That was the Mary J effect. I promise you. She got them loose. She got them a little loose. You understand? So in 92, there's a changing of the guard. Wu-Tang represents, when they come out, niggas with Timberlands, hoodies, you feel me? Dirty niggas. Okay? You saw this, you see the series on Hulu. They wasn't representing drug dealers. They wasn't representing, it's when Ghostface and Raekwon come out with the purple tape and these niggas are cleaned up. They got the Versace on, the polo silk and whatnot, the helicopter. You know, they're representing more of a Willie type of mind state. We getting money type shit. But prior to that, when the original Wu-Tang came out with the black and white video, that was some dusty niggas that smoked dust and they was on some dusty shit. Lip Tims are leaning. These were the robbers. These were the niggas hopping out of MPVs, robbing niggas. They were nickel and diamond, but they were more so the stick-up kid music. Biggie Smalls, when he started cooking, he started out the stick-up kids. Then he was trying to do the nickel, and then he was representing for the crack dealers and the nickel and dimers. And then he started merging into the Willie shit, right? Keep in mind, there's also an anomaly of an artist that I did not mention. He's the Dark Horse. He's still relevant. He's still popping. His name is Nasir Jones. He's changing the landscape. He's the one who shifted the whole culture around 92 and 91 and 92 with the Illmatic album. He changes hip hop the same way that Rakim changes the whole melody, the whole rhyme patterns. When Rakim Allah came out, he changed the rhyme patterns of hip hop. He upgraded it. You understand? That's the same thing that Nas did when he came out with Illmatic. You cannot go back to rhyming the way that you did after you heard. He put niggas out of business without battling them. Nas is definitely Neo. You understand? Nas is Neo. You understand? Nas is Neo. Right? Tupac, if I could remember, was giving us game. Tupac in 91 and 92 was giving us game. He was speaking to the part of us. We were going through what is known as the rites of passage. I was in Rikers Island in 1993 when the first fucking bomb went off in the Twin Towers. I was on Rikers Island, my nigga. I should not even have been there. You understand? I was going through what is known as the rites of passage. I might have been either 16 or 18, right? I was locked down. I did 6 months. I was supposed to be in fucking high school, my nigga. We were going through rites of passage. People like Tupac, Wu-Tang, they were speaking to our souls. These were our big homies. They were helping us in the ways that our quote-unquote big homies didn't care to help us out because some of our big homies was not giving us the game like that. We gravitated towards the hip-hop artists. Those was like our fathers in a sense. They was like our surrogate fathers because they was giving us the type of game. They was teaching us how to talk to the women. They was teaching us how to get fly and whatnot. They was teaching us how to deal with beef and whatnot. They was teaching us how to deal with our friends who become frenemies and shit like that. We were learning from the bars, my nigga. Keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. There was no Styles P at that point. Keep that in mind. We're talking 92 and whatnot. So Biggie Small emerges with Party and Bullshit. But Nas is that nigga, right? Nas is buzzing. Biggie Smalls had a little buzz. Nas is that dude. When he put his album out, it was over with, right? He shifts the culture. He shifts the culture. He upgrades the rhyming pattern. He upgrades the sound and whatnot. Okay? He upgrades the sound. Tupac is giving us Thug Life. The hate you gave little infants fucks everyone. Tupac is in the news a lot, right? Tupac is more of an enigma from getting in trouble, right? And being on the quote unquote news than any other rapper that I can remember, right? Tupac catches a rape charge, right? Tupac catches a rape charge. If you was there, then you will remember. Because remember, this is no internet back in the days. You had the Source magazine. So the news only came out once a month like that. They was not reporting hip hop news in a regular newspaper. That we didn't have a morning show. We didn't have no fucking Charlemagne. We didn't have Breakfast Club. You had Wendy Williams. She was telling you who's gay. And she was like insinuating all kind of rumors. She was the chatty patty. She was taking over what she was doing, what Howard Stern was doing, but on the hip hop side. And this was her beginning time. And she wasn't even, this was her building up. So we would have to go to the Source, and that would come out once a month. They would give us the 5 mics. They would give us the rhyme of the month, and they would give us stories about what the fuck is going on in our culture. So Pac was an enigma from the beginning because he had that Panther energy. He had that rebel energy. Remember, he was like, I'm invading hip hop. I don't belong in this shit. I'm invading. I'm a rebel for real, for real. I'm just moving through this shit, and I'm gonna use this motherfucking. I'm gonna use this art form to wake the people up. That's what he started out. Everybody starts out with good intentions until you get into this shit. Then, like I said, in 91, 92, 93, when he started getting locked up, niggas threw Tupac away. They was like, that nigga is a fuck up. Fuck that nigga. You understand? He is embarrassing. Take that monkey shit off. You're embarrassing us. People threw him away. They canceled Tupac. Ask your mama or your uncle or your big brother. They canceled Tupac. Okay? They canceled Tupac. Henceforth, while he got tight, then nobody was visiting him and coming to see him, and everybody was living their lives while he was locked up in Clinton, allegedly being taken advantage of because niggas threw him away. He was in a shallow grave. He was Hiram Abiff. At this point, I hit the bomb. The boom. Yeah, he was Hiram Abiff. Yeah, I don't remember that because you wasn't there. And they don't talk about it right now because they whitewash all of the artist history. Henceforth, when you watch these movies that they make, you could tell just when you watch these movies that they make about people and you was there, you could tell how history books were written. You know that nothing is really factual because they're lying to you right in your face. When you watch the Biggie movie, Gravy, we went to school with Gravy. That's my guy, right? Who played Biggie. Like 60% of that movie is fake. The Tupac movie, niggas that knew Tupac, they was like 40%, 50% of that is fake. The NWA movie, that shit was fake too. And they lying to you right in your face. Niggas is alive and they coming out with movies and the movies is completely turning the story around. Right? So when Tupac got shot, right? Because remember, Mike Tyson caught a rape charge, right? Niggas had more love for Mike Tyson than they had for Tupac. Do you remember that? And I'm speaking about rape charges. Remember, there's somebody in this community with a rape charge, right? There's somebody in this community with a rape charge, right? And you know, some people threw him away, some people didn't. They was like, nah, we gonna wait to see what happens and shit like that. You know what I mean? I ain't gonna just jump to the judgment. That was similar to Mike Tyson. That was similar to Tupac Shakur. You had some artists saying, you know what, I'm not gonna pass judgment on them, right? But you also had artists that did not like Tupac Shakur, and they was like, fuck that nigga, he's in the way. Remember, if somebody don't like you and you fall on your sword, you did it to yourself, you goofy nigga. Fuck out of here. You kill yourself. You know what I'm talking about? I'm not gonna ever throw no type of I'm not gonna throw a lifesaver in the water for you. I'm gonna watch you drown, right? So there was artists that were like, yo, I'm gonna watch this nigga drown because he had the world in his hands. This nigga is a world-renowned actor. People are appreciating him for his thespian skills. You know what I mean? But here it goes. He's throwing his whole career away by taking pussy. That's how niggas was looking at Tupac at that point. And then, see, people's like, they love Tupac in the movies, right? I'm not talking about Tupac in the movies, though. I'm talking about Tupac in real life. That's what people don't know. People know about Tupac from what they hear from other people. They know about Tupac from the movies. They know about Tupac from his albums. And they know about Tupac from the Google searches. I know about Tupac from smoking blunts and having conversations with my peers and whatnot when this nigga was on his way up. I know Tupac when he came home from signing a fucking record deal on a napkin with invisible ink. I remember that Tupac when this nigga got bailed out and it was a miracle. I remember Tupac when Mobb Deep said he got raped on Rikers Island or up north. That's the Tupac that I remember. I remember Tupac when niggas was banging on him. You understand? That's the Tupac I remember the Tupac who was starting beef with Biggie while he was behind bars, and everybody was like, where the fuck is that coming from? Hi? Niggas was confused. Like, what? You blaming Biggie? How? How, Sway? At this point, I hit the how Sway button. Nobody understood that. This quote-unquote beef that people call the East Coast, West Coast beef, when it started, everybody was baffled. Like, that's your man. How? He's like, yo, you wrote Who Shot You about me. Nigga, Who Shot You was out before you got shot. Respectfully, bro. Respectfully. Who shot you was out before Tupac got shot. Do you remember? Do you know that? Do you know that? And the shit already picked up legs. It was hot before he went to jail. He got shot and then went to jail right after that. Remember, he's in the courtroom bandaged up with the Nation of Islam protecting him. He's bandaged up, and then they sent him up north. He was like, yo, Tupac luck is crazy. He must have fucking killed a cat or something. He must have broke some mirrors because nothing is working out for him. We felt bad for Tupac. We felt sad for Tupac because this is me speaking personally. I loved his energy. I loved his spirit. Being that my father and my family has a connection to the Black Panthers and revolution and rebel life and whatnot, I immediately gravitated to any artist who exemplified that type of energy because they were like kinfolk to me. The people that I was surrounded by, knuckle draggers and whatnot, I had to dumb myself down to be amongst niggas. So I couldn't even fly that flag like that. So when there was artists who was on some revolutionary shit, when there was artists that was on some pro Panther shit, when there was artists that was on some fuck the system type stuff, I was able to relate to them. And then if I knew that the niggas that I was chilling with and I was cool with fucked with them, it was like, all right, now we have something that we can identify and relate to. So that was a bond right there. You understand what I'm saying? That was how the bond works. You understand? Because uh, contrary to popular belief, with all of these woke people running around and whatnot, even these rappers that are claiming woke, even the knuckle draggers and the 85ers that are claiming woke, in 1992 and 91, my nigga, even with all of the Sharif shit that was going around, it was two different islands. It was separate. You kept that shit completely away from the gangsters. The niggas that was selling crack and robbing niggas and getting on the trains and sticking up the whole train and doing devilish shit. The niggas that was really on demon time, they wasn't about none of that revolutionary. They didn't want to hear none of that shit. Even the God bodies turned into motherfucking. They was on. Even the God bodies turned dark. There were God bodies who turned into demons. You know what I'm saying? There was God bodies that was on some demonic shit back in those days. They dropped the lessons, my nigga. They dropped the lessons. They wasn't on that shit no more. They was selling crack, nigga, and they was robbing niggas. The majority of the niggas who went out of town and found quiet towns and tied it down, they was originally God bodies. They was original. But what the fuck? When they got into your town, they might not have been eating pork, but they was doing a lot of pork-like shit. Tying niggas up, robbing niggas, leaving babies all up and down I-95. You know what I'm talking about? Killing, stealing. That's not in the lessons. That's not righteous. But you got a lot of niggas with righteous names who clicked up with niggas from the hood and whatnot who wasn't about none of that, right? Look at the movie Belly. That gives you a little bit of insight, right? Remember Belly. Method Man was God body. The nigga Knowledge was God, Knowledge whose power from Wu-Tang. He played Knowledge and whatnot. He was running the spot in Cleveland. He was God body, right? He was God body. And Method Man, who he called up to kill Keisha and to kill other people, he was God body. But was these niggas acting like gods? Knowledge born. Exactly. These was God bodies. So I'm here to let you know that the gods even got corrupted by the money, the fame, fast life, the women, the cocaine, the heroin, the controlled substances, all things that Shaitan is involved with. They got caught in that trap. Checkmate, nigga. Checkmate. When I was on Rikers Island, the niggas that was running Rikers Island that had the niggas that was super predicates that was cutting captains and lieutenants, God bodies, Fruquan. It was a whole bunch of them, but it wasn't only them. They were mixed in. You had to turn dark because it was the terror. You were in hell. You was on hell on earth, like Mob D said. It was hell on earth. Also, Mob Deep comes out in 91, 92, 93, right? So by time 93 hits, right? By time 93 hits, Tupac is going to Rikers Island and up north. Biggie Small is taking the fuck off, right? I'm talking about this is when his buzz started, right? This is when his buzz started. From 93 to 95 is the beginning of the bad boy era, right? This is the tunnel era. This is what I remember I talked to y'all about the tunnel era. That's a nightclub in New York City where the music that was coming out when we was listening to them on Walkmans and all of that stuff, then they gave birth to a nightclub to where that music became the motherfucking soundtrack to a whole new era. This is another golden age. Okay? This is another golden age. This golden age is called the tunnel era. Way different from the shit from 86. Way different from what Big Daddy Kane and them was on. Way different from what motherfucking Rakim and them was on. Way different. Extremely different. This is some other shit. Okay? Yeah, 94. Right? Real quick. Commercial time. September 30th, on a Thursday, 9 p.m. Eastern Time, we will be producing and introducing and delivering another workshop for the family who are looking for options, who are looking for a way out, who may have to make a life decision about either staying on their job and getting the Jabbington or going completely off the grid and becoming digital nomads, right? So we're going to be bringing our special guest, a brother by the name of Mansa, right? And he's going to introduce to you the Mansa Freedom Plan, right? This is not our brother Mansa from the Aboriginal Law Firm, by the way. This is another brother. And he's going to be introducing you into insurance adjustments, the future markets, the option trading, future trading, and also the DeFi crypto banking, how to turn the DeFi crypto into banking. All right. I will have tickets on sale in our next show. But if you're interested, the email is right there, redpillar75 at Proton Mail. I would have had the link, but my computer got messed up before we started the show. So hit me on my email if you're ready to be a student. All of my KT aliens, all of my KTL University, all of my stream chasers. This one here is for y'all. This is a to not miss workshop. This shit is going to be lit. I will also be presenting along with the brother, and we're going to get right into it. We're going to get right to the bag. We're going to get right to a lot of shit that you might have to pay thousands of dollars. Because go ahead and run around the internet and see what's going on with other programs and how much they're charging and what it is that they're delivering and how they're feeding the family and whatnot. And you know what I mean? We're going to be doing that for our audience. We're going to empower you with information so you can make your money without having to basically, you know, you know, sit on the lap or depend on these employers to sustain your livelihood, right? And if you can't wait, I don't blame you, right? If you can't wait, I don't blame you because we have this fire sale. I did very well this weekend. The family responded astoundingly. I want to salute everybody that hit me up. They got the Strive and Thrive bundle. If you got your bundle, put a fire emoji in the chat room so the family already knows that the support is there. All right. We're going to extend that sale 24 more hours before we end it. All right. We have the solutions. We have workshops and lectures. Strive and Thrive 2021. The evolution will be digitized and 100 income streams. That's a 3-pack bundle for $99.99, my niggas. You know, I'm talking about my Nagas and my Neguses and whatnot. Holler at me because we here to do the work. We got the solutions and we have answers. We're not just up here talking and whatnot. Back to the program. So, the tunnel era, the music that's coming in the tunnel era, right? Think Little Kim, right? Hardcore. Think Foxy Brown. Think The Firm. Think Nas Escobar. This is not Nas from the first album. This is Nas Escobar. You understand? Think DJ Clue mixtape, right? Here go the fire emojis. Think DJ Clue mixtape, right? If there's some people that's waiting for, hit me on my email. Come talk black to me. Hit me on the email. Talk black to me. You feel me? We work with the people. Talk to me. You might have to make a down payment, but just talk to me on my email, and I'm gonna talk back to you. All right? We answer our emails very timely as well. So, dear Ma, I love you like the la, the ganja, sensimilia, can I feel ya? All I gotta do is touch. Drugs, baby. This is Mob Deep, my nigga, right? Godfather Part 3. This is NORE, my niggas. This is early CNN. You understand? We're talking 93. We're talking 94. We're talking Funk Master Flex and Big Cap at the fucking Wheels of Steel. If you saw Belly, the first scene in the Belly where they walked into the club where their eyes were glowing, that's the tunnel where they shot the white woman out the window. Her name was Jessica. That's the woman who was getting all of the bread and whatnot. You know what I'm talking about? That's the tunnel. A unisex bathroom. Do you know what that means? That means, and this was before Obama passed the LBGT. A unisex bathroom. Okay? And imagine what was going on in those bathrooms. Right? I don't even want to be graphic up in here. But the unisex bathroom, it was going down. It was going down. Right? And the club was a whole vibe. The club was a whole vibe. DJ Clue was running the mixtape games, right? He was running the mixtape. So on the way to the tunnel, we listening to the mixtapes, right? If you listen to a lot of DJ Clue, you might not hear too many Tupacs because Tupac wasn't doing the mixtapes because Tupac got caught up in 92. Like I said, around that time, he had caught a case, and that case slowed him down and whatnot. He was already building his star power up, but the case slowed him down. And when it slowed him down, it gave rise to Wu-Tang Clan, Nas, Jay-Z. Not Jay-Z. Jay-Z is not yet. Jay-Z is with Hawaiian Sophie. Niggas did not take him serious at that point. Let's be fucking clear. No, I'm sorry. Dead Presidents remix. So Jay-Z is beginning to emerge, right? So 91, that's early Jay-Z, that's Hawaiian Sophie. 93, Dead President remix, fucking out of here, right? In My Lifetime, when he was on in the boat and what, fucking out of here. Niggas was like, oh shit, that's homie that used to rap mad fast and whatnot. He got some sauce with him, right? So people start looking at him and whatnot. But the man, undeniably, hands down, no motherfucking qualms. You don't have to worry. You don't have to ask nobody. Biggie fucking Smalls. Notorious B.I.G. Okay? Hands down. There's nobody else that's really buzzing like that who's consecutive with putting out hit after hit after hit after hit. Then the mixtapes. He's bodying the mixtapes. He's bodying the freestyles. He's bodying the freestyles. He's destroying the Clue tapes, right? 96 is when they start taking Jay serious. That's a fact. That's a fact. See, people don't realize it. It took him a while to get on. He could not get on when Big was here. Yeah, shout out to Tech Nine. Shout out to Tech Nine. He's a fucking legend, right? When Biggie, he cast such a shadow, Jay-Z was the little homie. He could not compete. And I'm not saying that to be facetious. Biggie Smalls casted a shadow. You could rock with me. That's why he was going to put him in a commission along with Cameron, along with Mason Betha and whatnot. But you wasn't going to be bigger than me. He wasn't finna be bigger than Biggie. He could never be. If you can't be bigger than me if you didn't start out like that, right? It would have been Biggie and Nas going at it more than likely, right? With Jay-Z as the little homie, the same way that you have, Kanye and Drake beefing with homie with Pusha T as the little homie. Jay-Z would have been Pusha T. Jay-Z would have been Pusha T. Big L is popping at that time, right? All of these the Uptown, Herb McGruff, Big L. It's not even Cameron era yet. It's not Mace era. It's Big L's era, right? Big L, but it's really Herb McGruff, Lord Finesse, and all of them niggas, and Bronx niggas and Harlem niggas. They got a sound, they got a wave and whatnot, but it wasn't enough. Let's be clear, it wasn't enough. See, this was somebody would say who wants to hear. You don't want to hear the truth. You don't want to hear the truth. I'm giving you the truth. I can only give you the truth, my nigga. You wasn't there, right? You wasn't there, so you don't know. And if somebody gives you the truth about what was popping, you niggas will be like, oh, you hating. Nigga, you wasn't there. Shut up. Fuck out of here. You a fan. You wasn't there. I could tell you wasn't there, because if you was there, you wouldn't say that. You wasn't there. Anyway. Yeah, Public Enemy, they was making waves. They had a little, but like I said, niggas like Ill and Al Scratch, Father MC specific, all of that old sound began to evaporate because once again, Big changed the sound. Nas changed the sound, but Big started changing and he gave it a new sound. Puff came with the bad boy sound, total, right? The fusion of he came with the total. He came with Faith Evans. He came with motherfucking. He was giving Mary J a new shot at life and whatnot. So he was infusing the old school R&B the niggas mamas was listening to, and he was putting R&B singers of that day and hip hop niggas, mainly Biggie Smalls, on those tracks, and he was smoking that shit. Niggas was getting smoked, okay? Right? Because Nas wouldn't even get no play when Tupac's alive. How? What are you talking about? Nas put out a fucking classic when Tupac was alive. What are you talking about? See, that's what you niggas don't understand. Nas was that dude. Go and listen and talk to anybody in New York. Talk to anybody that was in rap. Like I said, you niggas was born after the towers fell. You are Generation Z. You know what I'm talking about? You born the same year as Little Nas X. Y'all don't know what you talking about. Fuck out of here. What do you mean? What? Nigga, Nas was bigger when he came out than he is today. Are you fucking serious? I went to hell at 12 for snuffing Jesus? What? Are you fucking serious? Who was rapping like that? Who the fuck was rapping like that? Are you serious? You niggas sound crazy. And this is not a New York thing. This ain't because I'm not saying I'm not being biased because I'm from the city. Everybody understood that you could not fuck with this nigga's pen like that. He might not have been as gangster as other gangster niggas. You know what I mean? Nas is known to be a little timid and whatnot. You know what I mean? But don't get it fucked up. He was that dude before Tupac was that dude. Let's be clear. And I'm not out here trying to weigh niggas because I don't want to get into that bag. I said to myself, when I give this history, I'm not trying to discredit anybody. I don't want to have this quote unquote, I don't want to put Tupac against Biggie and all. That's not what I'm here for. I'm here to edify this man, but I'm here to tell the truth about my experience in hip hop and how I lived through it and what Tupac meant to me and his contribution to the motherfucking game. And I'm really haven't even got all the way into Tupac's as because like I said, there's two Tupacs. There's post Rikers Island Clinton Correctional Facility, and there's pre, right? And there's pre Tupac. The Tupac that took the world by the storm was when he got out that motherfucking cage and whatnot, and you know he was the Tupac, the fire, the fucking Hellraiser, right? But this is what changed the whole course of Tupac. This would put and y'all niggas are mad because I'm not a dick rider, and I'm not riding niggas coattails, and I'm man enough to say that niggas hated Tupac, right? There was a large hate campaign against your boy, right? When he went to jail. What changed that is when that fucking album came out, when that double album came out, when this nigga was locked up. That's what changed the course, okay? That's what changed the course. Because music will exonerate you from a lot of fuck shit. You've seen it before. Motherfuckers hated R. Kelly until he came out with the Chocolate Factory. And the streets acquitted him. They gave him an appeal. He was held, the streets should have never let that nigga come outside after they seen him pissing on them little girls and whatnot. But they granted this nigga an appeal when he came out with new music, Step in the Name of Love. You old niggas in Chicago gave that nigga a pass. You understand? You gave him a fucking pass. You know what music will do. It will calm the motherfucking beast, and it will give niggas a pass. And that's exactly what that double album did. That's exactly what that double album did. When he came out with that double album, niggas hopped right back on his wood. Pause. And then they start feeling sorry for him that he was locked up. And then what happened? The motherfucker Suge Knight came and got his ass. But during the whole time before that they got him, he was beefing through Vibe magazine and through other publications and hating on motherfucking Biggie Small and Puff Daddy and throwing rocks at these niggas and whatnot. And you know, Big is a Bed-Stuy nigga. He's not gonna feed into that. He's just gonna stun on you. He's gonna style on you. So he was kind of styling on a nigga like, yo, what is homie talking about? He's locked up. Like, you know what I'm talking about? Like, what the fuck is he talking about? I'm out here doing me. And what was Pac saying? You took my style. You out here wearing Versace now, talking about you sleeping with women. That's what I was on before I got locked up, when you was sleeping on my couch as a dirty nigga. Granted, this is hip hop though. Niggas recreate themselves immediately. That's why we start rapping. That's why we start rapping. And the niggas that Pac had issues with, Haitian Jack, Tut, these are real killers in New York, right? These are real killers. These are real lay it down niggas. These were real lay you down niggas. So until recently, until the towers fell, before the towers fell, it was a different New York. Niggas is wearing dresses in New York right now. They was at VMAs. You couldn't even do that shit at VMAs in the old New York. Somebody from that was working maintenance in the Barclays Center would have hopped on stage and set it off on these niggas. Somebody from the crowd would have threw something at niggas if they would have been on stage kissing and rubbing on each other. You couldn't do that in the old New York. After the towers fell, it was almost like when you see in those old movies in the kingdom and whatnot, when the gates of the fucking kingdom fall and niggas run through the kingdom. New York was never the same again. We never had a New York where people from out of town could just come and move there. And that's nothing to take away from you tourists and whatnot. But niggas was not coming to New York on some tourism shit. You couldn't move to New York from fucking from Wyoming. What are you talking about? What the fuck are you talking about? You couldn't just, yo, I'm gonna move to New York from Boise, Idaho. Like, what? That was unheard of. Niggas in New York couldn't even live in New York like that. We was trying to figure out how to survive out there. Let alone somebody from the fucking from the woods, the sticks, or any other city for that matter. You wasn't coming from down south and just pulling up like that unless somebody was really taking care of you and holding you down, or you was just a super duper live wire. That's how it was. That's how that shit was. Before the towers fell, it was a completely different city. Completely different city. So Biggie Smalls, Nas Escobar, Foxy Brown, AZ, The Firm, Mobb Deep, all of these people start popping. Snoop Dogg is on the West Coast popping, right? Outkast, maybe one of the first acts out of Atlanta, popping. But that's like 95. Prior to that, prior to that, what was it, Kilo? Who was coming out of Atlanta? Kilo? Huh? Pebbles? Let me know. I might have forgot a name or two, right? So the city is lit. The city is lit. Mike P said Pac was before Nas. Yes, he came out before Nas. I already said that, Mike P. But the impact, right? We're talking about the impact. We're talking about the pen game. We're talking about 5 mics. You understand? We're talking about buzz, my nigga, right? We're talking about buzz. We're talking about impact. Yes, Brenda had a baby. I get around. I made sure to say all of that. Trapped niggas for what was that? What was the album? And all of that was lit with Tupac. Tupacalypse Now and all of that. I said that, but what I said was when Nas came out with that verse from, see, you niggas is not honest with yourselves. You know what I'm talking about? Y'all be trying to recreate history and whatnot. Y'all try to rewrite history to favor how shit be these days, and you're not keeping it 1,000. You're not keeping it authentic. You know what I'm talking about? That verse from Live at the Barbecue, that shit shifted the whole culture. What are you talking about? And and his album was one of the most anticipated albums of that whole fucking era. And then when it dropped, he did not disappoint. And I don't, and nobody on this live is ever going to tell me that album, that there was other albums that were floating around that you could stand next to Illmatic. And I'm not going to mention none of these artists, but there was no artist who was coming out with albums who could fuck with Illmatic at that point. Let's stop it. Let's stop it. Let's really fucking stop it. Okay? I'm giving everybody their respect and their flowers, and I'm trying to be non-biased, but let's stop it. Like I said, Pac is a New York artist. He's a New York artist. Okay? I don't do the West Coast and all of that dumb shit. I see him as a New York artist whose mama was a Panther, right? He is the greatest rapper alive. He is the fucking GOAT. Keep in mind, I'm gonna give you why he's the GOAT. He's the greatest of all times. I'll go on record saying that, right? But I'm man enough to where I could say the truth, right? Without taking away from anybody. I don't have to diminish no one while giving anyone their props, right? He is the greatest rapper. He is the personification of the greatest artist that could ever be molded. Only because if his mama was not a Afeni Shakur, that would not be the case. Why do I say that? Because in my book, in my category to what the greatest MC is and what he should be and how he personifies, he is the textbook version of it, and it lines up all the way. But it starts with his mama. Okay? It starts with the fact that his mama had him in his fucking stomach while she was beating the motherfucking NYPD in the Panther 21 trial. You can't make shit like that up. You understand? That's what, remember, I always say that all of these artists after Tupac died, they copied everything about him except his revolutionary ways, except his revolutionary spirit, except his rebelliousness. They left that shit sitting on the fucking Petri dish. They didn't clone that part. They took the bandana, the bald head, the tattoos, the fucking the abrasive talking and everything, the rebel rousing, but they never took the authentic quote unquote rebelliousness. They never took the consciousness. They never took the fact that this nigga was a warrior. They left that on the table. So all of his clones, none of them compare because they never had that part. That is the missing piece. Hip hop is hip hop, not rap. Hip hop, the culture of hip hop has 5 pillars. Master of ceremony, right? Master of ceremony, which is the MC who's the rapper. He had that. You can't fuck with his voice control, his energy. He performs better than Nas. He performs better than Biggie. He's the best performer that I've ever seen next to a few other people. I mean, DMX and some other niggas have energy, but I can't talk about artists that came after the. How could you talk about niggas? I can't give you. I can't rate nobody being great when there's somebody that came after the great. I could only give you the person who was there and niggas probably before him. You understand what I'm saying? Like, you can't say that LeBron is greater than Jordan. No, Jordan is the fucking blueprint that LeBron is born out of. Do you understand what I'm saying? So you can't be greater than your teacher. Rule number 1 of law of power: never outshine the master. It's impossible. It's impossible only because if you didn't have my blueprint to work off of, if you didn't have my dunks to study, if you didn't have my handle in which to copy and whatnot, how the fuck can you be? Dude, how you gonna be greater than me? You're just a 2.0. You're not greater than me, my nigga. The iPhone 1 is the greatest fucking iPhone ever. You understand what I'm saying? Neo, the Neo, right? The 6th iteration of Neo, Mr. Anderson. He's not greater than the first Neo. He's not greater than the first Neo. Kung Fu Kenny is not greater than who he comes before. He is an improvement upon. He is an improvement, but he don't have all of the pieces that the originals have. Me, I'm about the original. I don't do facsimiles. I don't do carbon copies. I respect them. I give them their props, but I'm about the original. I do my best to find what the fuck is the original. Y'all should walk with that a little bit more. You know what I'm talking about? Fuck with the originals versus fucking with the facsimiles and the carbon copies. Your life will be better. But like I said, and we know in hip hop, artists feed off of each other. They're inspired, even if they're intimidated by each other. They still pick up pieces from each other. They feed off of the energy of the times. You cannot duplicate 1991. You can't duplicate 1992. You can't duplicate the energy. You can't duplicate the times. It's impossible. So you could have had a great 2003, my nigga. It's not the same era. It's not the same era. LeBron with all of the finals that he went through, nigga, you didn't go up against the Pistons. It's not the same era of the late 80s, my nigga. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Yes, you could not be a biter. You could not be a biter. You cannot take my style and try to improve upon it. The biters came after the towers fell. The biters came after the towers fell. I hit the bomb right now. The biters came after the towers fell. Who were the towers? Tupac and Biggie, right? Tupac died on September 13th, right after 9/11. He's a New Yorker. He's the first New York tower to fall. Then, right after that, on March 9th, the other New York tower fell. That's called Biggie Smalls. Hit the bomb, right? These are the first towers to fall. These are the first towers to fall. These are the towers that represented the divination system that we erroneously call hip hop. Let me get through the 5 pillars of hip hop and to show you how Tupac embodied all of those. That's why he's the GOAT, right? I love Biggie Smalls. I'm from Brooklyn, my nigga. Biggie is in my veins, but his mama didn't know that he rapped. That cancels him out, okay? No offense. You know what I mean? No offense. You feel me? No offense. He's one of the greatest lyricists and everything, but Valletta didn't even know that he was a rapper. And he lived with her for a long amount of time. You know what I'm talking about? What is that translation to? You wasn't living your rhymes, right? A large portion of them. And Tupac was. He shot the police. Okay? He shot the police. So, 5 pillars of hip hop. Master of ceremony, right? Tupac mastered that. If it took him his whole career to get it, right? Or if he had it when he first popped out in the booth. Master of ceremony, right? Dance. This nigga was a backup dancer. He was nice on his feet. I don't know too many videos where he was dancing, but he was a dancer, right? The arts, which would be the graffiti. He was an artist, right? He was an artist. He was nice with his art, right? Knowledge. We don't even have to go there. Go and listen to the interviews. As much as I love Biggie Smalls, once again, as much as I salute Nasir Jones, as much as they did not have the intellect. They did not have he inherited his intellect. You understand? He inherited his intellect. He was conscious before they was conscious. You understand? He didn't have God body knowledge of self. He wasn't regurgitating the lessons of a Malachi Z. York and shit like that. This nigga was giving you pure fucking Panther 1960s. You know what I'm talking about? He was that shit was coming from his spirit. He was foreseeing things. When you go and listen to the interviews, he was tapping in to his mother. He was a soothsayer. He was predicting shit. He was a prophet. His prophecy is in his rhymes. His prophecy is in his poetry. He was a poet. He was a trained poet. He was a thespian. He was a thespian. And he was a reader. He was an avid reader. That right there, my friends, is the prototype for the fucking GOAT. Nothing to take away from Nas and Biggie and all of them. And I will never take away, but I'm giving you the tenets to show you a fucking GOAT when you see one. Right? I'm giving you the tenets. Right? He studied Machiavelli. He was studious. He was a leader. He was forming the One Nation. He formed Thug Life. The hate you give little infants fucks everyone. Go outside and look and see what you see, my friends. That whole acronym came to life. Never ignorant, getting goals accomplished, niggas. Never ignorant, getting goals accomplished. That acronym came to life. You understand? It's bigger than rap, my niggas. It's hip hop. Rap is just one aspect. It's hip hop. Right? It's hip hop. And then the fifth element is DJing, right? The DJ. I don't know if he's a DJ. You know what I'm saying? But I suspect that he knew how to turn the tables. You know? Fuck it. So all of the pillars of hip hop lives within him. All of the pillars live within his spirit and his soul, right? He's more relatable. As much as I love B.I. and whatnot, Biggie was not conscious. He wasn't giving you street consciousness like that. I need balance. I don't sell crack. I don't rob niggas. And I don't do a lot of shit that Biggie was promoting and whatnot. You feel me? At the end of the day, yeah, that's entertainment. But no, by proxy, Tupac takes that. Right? The only person that could really stand next to him would be a Nasir Jones and whatnot, or a Nasty Nas. And when you measure them up, and I don't mean to measure no men, but this is hip hop. This shit is a competitive sport. Nigga, he's the GOAT. He's the GOAT. His words come true. You could listen to the shit that he put out in 1991, and he could have wrote that shit a few weeks ago. His words are prophetic. His words are prophecy. But if people are not comfortable with hearing the unadulterated truth, then I don't know if you should be listening to me, because I'm not going to fluff this shit up. You feel me? I'm not going to put lipstick on a pig. I'm going to give it to you the way that I remember it. You feel me? I'm going to give it to you the way that I remember it, because you need to hear the real stories. Fuck all of these fake ass industry narratives that they be trying to run and whatnot. These niggas are dick riders. You see how many people die and then they hop on their wood like they was they mans in them? These niggas is showing DMs. Yo, I was supposed to link up with son. Get the fuck out of here. You niggas are fake. When people are going through shit, you can't find these fake ass fugazi niggas. When you're not hot, these niggas don't be hitting your line and whatnot. These niggas are hoes. And when you die, they turn into cheerleaders and whatnot. I've been watching these niggas do it for the last 30 years. So what make you think that they didn't do the same thing to Tupac Amaru Shakur when he made his transition? All these niggas hopped on his wood and was like, that was my man. You're lying. You're lying. You're a fucking liar. You know what I'm talking about? You're lying. You niggas was intimidated by him. He didn't fuck with you niggas. You was scared of him, and y'all was kind of more comfortable with him not being here. Remember, the minute I die, niggas is gonna be like, oh, that was my man, red as a goat. But I'm here now, and it's an intimidation factor. They don't want to say it. They won't stand next to me now. They won't give it up. They won't give it up right now. They'll only be comfortable with you when you're gone. That's how this thing works. That's how this thing works. They'll ride your coattail when you're gone because you're not a threat. What the fuck? What your ghost is gonna do something to them? They'll ride your coattails when you're gone, and they'll secretly hate on you and conspire against you like the 77 co-conspirators when you're alive to bring you down. He had a lot of co-conspirators. Why did this nigga start wilding out? Because he realized that niggas was hating from the sidelines, that you niggas was pillow talking, and he was out here sleeping with the same chicks that you niggas was with, and you know how these broads give it up. You know what I'm talking about? Niggas was out here pillow talking, and they was sideline hating and whatnot, because it's a competitive sport, and Tupac let his nuts hang and whatnot, and a lot of niggas hated him for that. A lot of niggas hated him for that. They hated his guts, and they hated everything that he stood for. Did they pick up the mantle of the revolution? Did they start repeating the shit that he said about the revolution? Did they become revolutionary, or did these niggas become woke? Tupac was woke when he was a baby. You understand? Tupac was woke when he was like 5 years old. You know what I'm talking about? He wasn't woke when he was an adult, my nigga. These niggas are woke, bro. What the fuck does woke mean? That means that you're not gonna do nothing. You niggas are diet woke. You just want to be at the Rock Nation brunch and take pictures with fucking Jay-Z and get a glimpse of Beyonce. You niggas are not deep like that. You're not doing anything. You're not drilling nothing. You know what I'm talking about? You won't bust a grape in a fruit fight. You're not building nothing. You niggas is out here dick riding. You're just regurgitating woke concepts. So anyway, let's get back to the history lesson. Tupac gets his fucking he gets niggas back on his dick when he drops the double album, right? Now people care about him, right? He's getting visits from Jasmine Guy. All of the shorties is going to visit him, but these niggas are not, right? All he wanted was a visit from Biggie. I'm dead ass. That's all he wanted was he wanted Biggie to visit him on an island. And they would have never beefed after that. He just wanted a visit. And Biggie was so much in his ego, and he was so much, and to be honest with you, I think Sean Combs had a lot to do with that, because Sean Combs was molding him from being a street dirty nigga, from being a grimy Brooklyn nigga, where his Timbs was leaning, and he had the dusty hoodie and whatnot, the champion hoodie. He was turning him into a pretty nigga. He was turning him into a quote unquote character, where the character was, you a big Willie, you a hustler, you get money and women and whatnot. That wasn't Biggie. If you watch the documentary, you'll see what the fuck I'm saying. This nigga was a jazz player. He was a good kid, right? And he was a hand-to-hand crack dealer. Call him Fat. He was Fat Chris in the hood, right? Salute to, shout out to his hood. He was Fat Chris, right? And if you're a fucking Big Willie, your mama knows that you're a. If you become a kingpin in the hood, nigga, your mama gonna know that you're a kingpin. Let's be clear. She's not gonna be like, oh, I didn't know that he was a kingpin. No, nigga. You when you selling hand to hand, nickel and dime, maybe you can hide that from your mama, but never when you blow up. You first of all, you're not gonna live with your mama no more, and your mama not gonna know that you wasn't selling drugs. Let alone your mama not gonna be like, oh, I didn't really know that he was rapping, but you was in a Juicy video, Valletta. What are you talking about? Isn't that you right there in the Juicy video? But anyway, whatever. He wanted a visit from Biggie on Rikers Island. That's all he really wanted. And I suspected Sean Combs with his bitch ass was telling that man, don't go to visit this nigga because he got a dirty, because remember, a rape charge is a dirty jacket. It wasn't like he was up there for shooting a popo. He was there for a rape charge. Niggas had backed up off of him. The same way that they waiting for this nigga to get found guilty so they could back up off of him and be like, yeah, I don't fuck with him no more. So that's what happened. Biggie probably wanted to go see that nigga, but Puffy was like, no, I'm invested in you, nigga. You bad boy's face. You can't go see that nigga. You feel me? Fuck that nigga. And Tupac felt that energy, and the word probably got back to him, so he started his campaign. And then we got the East Coast, West Coast war, because to be honest with you, they already had drama. Suge Knight and Puffy had drama because Suge Knight was banging his chick. Right? Suge Knight was beating up what's her name? The Chinese, the shorty that looked Asian. He was beating her back out, right? So they was beefing over women. Box. That's what this shit really was about. Women. You know what I'm talking about? And then you see the 95 Source Awards. Suge Knight gets on stage. Yo, if you don't, yeah, but Suge Knight homeboy got killed by Wolf after the beef. It didn't start, it started over abroad. Misa, Hilton, started over Misa. You know Shorty that's in the bathtub popping the fucking bottle when Puffy is in the bubble bath, nigga, and she popping the Cristal and whatnot, that's his baby mama. That's Justin's mom's. Right? And then Suge Knight on 1995, right, at the Source Awards at Madison Square Garden, right, when him and Snoop Dogg and the whole Death Row declared war on Bad Boy by going up there and violating Puff Daddy in his own house. Remember that? Oh, the East Coast don't got love for Snoop Dogg. The East Coast don't got love for Snoop Dogg. Oh, what? The East Coast don't, yo. Remember that? And they start booing him and everything. That's the same social wars where Andre 3000 said the South got something to say, and they booed at him too. That's when we was in our most arrogant era, right? That's when we was our most arrogant era, when we didn't think that nothing was ever gonna change. When we was on the top. That's when New York was at almost its apex. That's almost the apex of New York before it began to decline, right? But like any empire, like any nation that becomes so arrogant, you know what I mean? And they start shitting on the underdog. They start shitting on the little niggas. That begins that they get Benny Blanco. You get Benny Blanco, that Amtrak, nigga. You know what I mean? So that begins the open conflict, right? Death Row fell apart about Michelle. That's Dr. Dre and Suge. But the East Coast, West Coast war between Suge and Puffy started out over a woman, and then it spiraled with the rappers between between Big and Pac, right? Henceforth, why Suge ran and got Pac out of jail like that, because he's like, that's a pawn piece. I'm going to use this nigga as a pawn piece. We going to war, right? Yeah, New York was hating. They was in a bag. It was 95. Niggas was feeling themselves. It's the tunnel era. Niggas is on top. Biggie got this shit in a headlock. Pac is out the way. You understand? He's not a threat. He's out of the way. Niggas was celebrating too much. What happens when you celebrate too much? You get punch drunk, and you know it went down after that. You know, it went down after that. Big was great for not writing and gave us two classics. Big gave us uh, Big gave us two classics, but Big gave us mad club joints, remixes, the total remix, the fucking he gave us mad remixes, and like I said, you niggas wasn't listening to mixtapes. Y'all be the people that just listen to singles and shit. We a different type of ear. It's a different type of energy that I'm referring to, right? I'm talking about the mixtape era, right? I'm talking about the mixtape era, Mr. Born after the 9/11. I'm talking about the mixtape era where you really got your buzz at, where you really establish your motherfucking name as a spitter, as a real writer, even if you didn't write. The way that you spit sounds like you niggas was up all night writing. It was on the mixtape and in the club. Because like I said, hip hop shifted in 93 from mixtape into club music. Now it's strip club music. The tunnel era is the birth of club music. The tunnel era is like the explosion of niggas having hits in a discotheque, right? Prior to that, when we would go to the club, it was club still, but you had Warehouse, Palladium, and all of this, but it was a meat fucking packing district. It was a sausage fight. It was a sword fight. It was like 4 shorties with fucking door knockers and 40 niggas on them. Okay? And the shorties look like Rage. They look like fucking you know what I'm talking about? They look like Babs Bunny and whatnot. You know what I'm talking about? Huh. But then after that, when Little Kim came out, I don't know what the fuck happened, but all of a sudden the baddies started popping up out of nowhere. I didn't even know that they existed. She gave birth to baddies. That's a fact. You could ask anybody. Little Kim and Foxy, those are the you know, that's the thought node. That's the thought node. They gave birth. They're like the thought gizmos. You know what I'm talking about? They're like the thought gizmos. You put water on them, and all kind of thoughts started popping up, and all kind of Adina Howard. Adina Howard was she kind of primed the walls and whatnot, and then Little Kim and them painted it. Taking in the buns. Yeah, what? She brought the freaks out, nigga. The fuck is you talking about? And that's what made the club pop off. That's what brought that's what made niggas hop out and jump in $100,000 cars and whatnot and start putting Rolexes on and wearing diamonds. You understand? We didn't have nothing. We didn't have an incentive to do that before. We was fucking with around the way girls. They wasn't inspiring us to become millionaires like that. They didn't have it in them to pull that out of us. When Foxy and them came and Little Kim came with that talk, when they came with that talk, niggas got fully in their bag and started really changing. I watch artists. That's why I'm like, fuck what anybody says. I watch hip hop artists terraform the hood into what the fuck it became. I watch niggas hop out of Toyota Corollas into 500 Benzes. You understand? Into 500 Benzes. You had to be there. You niggas was in the crib. You had to be there. You had to be there. And I'm not just talking about with your Walkman. You had to be outside. You had to see the shift. You had to see the change. You had to see the impact that the fuck is going on in the whole culture through the music. Magical shit, my niggas. There's no that you can't recreate that in Hollywood. I don't want to hear about no series that's coming out. You'll never be able to capture that feeling. Never. It's organic. Had to be there. You understand? You had to be there. Niggas transformed from ashy to classy. That shit that Biggie spit was a real fucking covenant, nigga. That was a commandment. Niggas went from ashy to classy. Everything changed. We changed. We cleaned up. We went from petty and we bigged ourselves up. We was looking at $1,000. We was thousandaires, and our minds started shifting to becoming millionaires. Even the rappers, them niggas was not selling a million. Jay-Z did not go platinum. All I hear is platinum that with platinum this. You won't got no platinum hits. Remember Mace was stunting on him? Remember Mace and him had a secret war? All I hear is platinum that, platinum this, platinum wrist. But you don't got no platinum hits. Jay-Z wasn't platinum, nigga. Niggas wasn't even going platinum like that. They made platinum attainable. They made niggas want platinum or die. We was wearing platinum. I didn't even know what platinum was. I had no. I thought platinum was aluminum. We was wearing fuck silver, nigga. We was wearing platinum. We was wearing diamonds. And we got all of that out the mud. We didn't go to our mama. We didn't rob our mother's pocketbook, you bum ass niggas. We didn't sell ass. You know what I'm talking about? We didn't lay on our backs. You weird ass niggas. We wasn't out here selling neck. We wasn't on Uber Skeets. We wasn't on Backpage. We wasn't whoring ourselves. You understand? We was taking it. Them niggas put batteries in our backs. They was like, yo, we gotta live like mafioso. We gotta live big, nigga. Remember Juicy? It was all a dream. We gotta live big. These niggas breathed life into the hood. And some of the people that's running the industry right now, a lot of niggas in your hoods, even your big homie probably got put on by a New York nigga who really was helping, put him on. You know what I'm talking about? Whether they was in a pen together or niggas who passed through your town and whatnot. All of them got charged up through this music. Let's be clear. Let's be clear. You know what I'm talking about? Let's be clear. All that, I'm buying houses. I'm hopping out of European $100,000 cars. I'm walking around with 20 racks and 30 racks. Where the fuck you think that started from? I'm wearing name brand designer. And where you think that started from? You can front if you want. You ain't gonna get past me. You can act crazy if you want, nigga. You can try to rewrite history if you want. But we know where it came from. We know that you niggas are borrowing the cloth. No offense. Don't get in your feelings. Just pay homage. We know where it started from. And to be honest with you, Tupac didn't start that. I love my brother, but he didn't start that. Okay? He didn't start that. When he came home, shit was wavy. Right? He hopped right in the Versace shirt, but it was already, you know what I'm talking about? Niggas already had that. It was already wavy when he got out. So there was a 3-year era, a 3-year window where the whole fucking culture upgraded and shifted, and niggas went from wearing Timberlands and hoodies and baggy clothes and looking real fucking dusty and scary to niggas looking clean, looking good, shining like diamonds. It's shiny suit era, nigga. You know what I'm talking about? Looking real and yeah, ask the ladies, nigga. Ask the ladies. They was watching. I don't give a fuck where the chicks in Alaska was watching. And they didn't even have the internet, and somehow they still seen us. They was watching. They seen us. Shit, when you go to the tunnel, I was bagging shorties from fucking Nebraska, nigga. They was traveling. They heard about us. Stop playing with me. What year? 93, 94, 95, motherfucker. Get live, motherfucker. You remember that? 95, motherfucker. Get live, motherfucker. That era. 93, 94, 95, nigga. From Ashy to motherfucking Classy, nigga. That part. Niggas was lit. I'm talking about everybody. Walking around with thousands of dollars on us. Chilling. Sitting on $500,000 with all my guns, all my sons, all my women. And then they killed the big homie. and then it died. 97. It was a fucking wave. I can't even explain it, bro. There's never been a wave like that ever. Niggas will try to attribute BMF or something, but fuck out of here. It was never a wave like that after that. It shifted everything. It even affected you niggas in Atlanta. Y'all started waving. You know what I'm talking about? Y'all started getting wavy too. So Pac comes home in 95, I believe. 96 around, you know. And he declares war on the East Coast. He declares war on Notorious B.I.G. No, he comes home in 95. I'm sorry. He has a fucking run for a year. He has the illest run that I've ever seen in hip hop, to be honest with you. He has the illest 1 year run that I've ever fucking seen, ever, in hip hop. There's nobody that could match that run that he had. Like I said, Biggie had a crazy run, but he didn't have the chip stacked against him the way that Tupac did. Tupac was counted out. He was Hiram Abiff. He was in a shallow grave, right? He was in a shallow grave. He was buried in a shallow grave. He was not supposed to make it. He's supposed to die on behind bars. He was supposed to die. He was supposed to become somebody's girlfriend behind bars. He was supposed to get broken behind bars if niggas would have had it their way. He was supposed to fall into obscurity behind bars and then come home a broken man. That's how niggas wanted it to be. I'm just giving you the game. I'm just giving you the game. There is no 50 Cent around this time. There is no DMX around this time. There's none of that. There is no Locks around this time. They coming though. They right on the heels. They coming like 2 years later, right? But you got to remember, when certain artists' stars was shining so bright, a lot of niggas was, one, intimidated. Two, you didn't have enough. Your rhymes wasn't tight enough. You didn't have enough bars to even be considered to be an MC in that elite class. Remember, when Pac and Biggie was alive, the artists were elite. When they died, you got Master P, and the rest is history. You know what I'm talking about? I'm just keeping it real with you. You know what I mean? Just keeping it real with you. These were elite MCs. It was called. They had the bar raised so high that if you even came into the rap game, either somebody had to bring you in or you was just that nice. There really wasn't no new artist that was coming out during that era when these niggas was really popping like that. Cameron comes out at the tail end of Biggie's career, and so does Mace at the tail end, and so does Locks. Puff Daddy signs them at the tail end. When these niggas was running shit, who was out? Who was out? Who was coming out like that? I think Wu-Tang had it hard. Wu-Tang had it hard. They had Triumph in it, but they had it hard. It was hard for them to even shine. So Pac comes home. Suge signs him to a contract, I believe, on a napkin. Pac comes home, California Love, right? Boom. First video that drops, California Love. He's on his futuristic Mad Max shit and whatnot. This nigga's a little bit diesel. You know what I mean? He got the up north glow. He's looking happy. He's counting money. He's talking shit. They got an interview with MTV. He's taking shots at niggas and everything. He's like, we coming. He got Dr. Dre's production and whatnot. And then it just went up from there. It went up from there. It went up from there. AZ was spitting at that time, but AZ comes out in AZ is on Stillmatic. AZ already was out. I'm talking about new artists. Scarface comes out. Scarface, Mr. Scarface. Scarface been out. That wasn't a new MC. Scarface is like 92. Scarface had Texas on the Shoulders. 8 Ball and MJG. They been popping. UGK, they had a buzz. I'm going to keep it a buck. They had a buzz. Right? They had a buzz. They really pop off during the Jay-Z era. if my memory serves me correct, Big Pimpin' and all of that. You know what I mean? All of the usual suspects were already there. I don't want to make it seem like nobody was popping or nobody was able to come out, right? But I'm saying that these two artists were casting such a large shadow. They were casting such a large shadow with their celebrity. They were casting such a large shadow with their talent, right? They had raised the bar on bars, right? They raised the bars on sound. They raised the bars on their projects. They raised the bars on a bunch of shit. Yeah, the Outlaws was in Tupac's camp. That's 96. Like I said, when Tupac comes home, he gets the Outlaws, and they got the Outlaws and the Dog Pound had a little bit of beef. Snoop and Tupac didn't necessarily see eye to eye, right? DMX and Ja Rule look just like Tupac. Is it a coincidence? DMX and Ja Rule come out with the Tupac aesthetics. Ja Rule especially. Remember, can I get a what? He had you niggas thought that was Tupac. You got intimidated. You thought that nigga was tough. Remember, you thought he was tough because he was bald headed, had a bandana, and he was screaming and shit. Niggas was like, oh, these New York niggas. No, nigga, he wasn't tough. He wasn't tough. So we was rocking with Tupac from the gate. I mean, we was rocking with Scarface. Remember, Scarface and Tupac had this shit smile and whatnot. That was an instant classic. Niggas was afraid of Scarface. Scarface was a problem. Okay? Scarface was a problem. Nobody wanted to fuck with Scarface, and they didn't want no smoke with Scarface. Let's be clear. Master P did big numbers. So did MC Hammer. What is that saying? And I'm not taking nothing away from Master P, but when Tupac, Master P, they would, And then Master P said something about Tupac putting them on and some other things. I'm like, I don't believe you. Not like that. You niggas he didn't front page you. When a nigga passes through, you might open up for him. He might fuck with you because you got bread. Don't do that. Tupac wasn't pushing you, nigga. Wasn't pushing you. Hammer was Pac's guy. Yeah, Hammer was that dude. Don't get it fucked up. He didn't make the type of music that I could shake my tail feather to. You know what I mean? He was considered he was a commercial artist and whatnot. Yeah, Master P was an underground artist from the Bay Area. Facsimile, right? Master P blew up. Remember, he had the thing in the back of the Source magazine where it was a tombstone, and he had an iced out fucking West Side and whatnot. That was Master P's first project dedicated to Tupac after he died, and then came that ice cream shit. Okay? Okay? Master P did his thing and didn't kiss no ass. Definitely. I'm not taking nothing away from him. But the bar was lowered after Pac died. That's all I'm saying. The bar was lowered. Certain niggas couldn't get their shit off when Pac was here. Bottom line. And when the greats were removed, a lot of shit came through the fucking door. Because the bar got lowered. You know what I mean? A lot of shit was able to come through the door because the bar got lowered. But when they were alive, nothing was coming through. Wasn't coming through. It couldn't. People, the sound. It's a sound frequency thing. When there's a sound, when there's a water rises to its highest level, when there's a certain type of sound on the scene, when there's a certain lyrical skill, it's called the bar is raised to a certain limit. Unless you coming in completely dunking over the board, unless you coming in tapping the board, unless you niggas is coming in and you on that frequency, we don't hear you. What are you talking about? We don't hear you. The fuck? And another thing, it wasn't 100 artists coming out a fucking year when these niggas was alive. You might have had 5 or 6. That was the era where you just could not come out and say that you was a rapper. Everybody thought that they could rap, but after Big and Pac died, everybody tried to rap. Everybody went for it. They wasn't stupid enough to do it when these niggas was alive. Everybody thought that they could rap. Niggas was playing with it, but the niggas who was playing with it actually made that their career after the fucking goats left the scene. You understand? It's the same thing on all industries, all around the board. If you niggas been in the streets, you know what I'm talking about. When there was certain leaders and big homies and real niggas on the scene, you niggas was watching them from your window. When they got swept up or bodied and whatnot, that's when you came outside and you started acting fucking tough and you picked up a rag and whatnot. That's when you decided to be a gangster, you weird ass niggas. I know about you niggas. You understand? I've been outside, nigga. I know you niggas hopped off the porch when it was safe. It's the same thing in a rap game. These niggas hopped off the porch when it was safe. And they was inside of the house when these niggas was out here running in these streets. Like I said, a lot of you niggas was born after 9/11. We can't really relate like that. That's why I'm trying to explain some things to you so you can understand what the fucking climate was. Okay? Respectfully. I'm being respectful. Respectfully. I'm just giving you the big homie talk. You might not have a big homie, or your big homie might have been a lame. That is a possibility. You know what I mean? Like, this is 2021. It's been like 5 generations already removed. Do you understand what's happening? It's been about 5 fucking generations already scraped off. We talking about massacres have taken place. Numerous sweeps have taken place. Niggas got deported, my nigga. Real niggas done got deported, right? Deportees. You niggas got sent back to Jamaica and fucking Haiti, nigga. And Trinidad and all of that. Niggas done got washed. This niggas went up north. It's been about 5 different generations of layers of niggas that have been removed from the hood, and now you niggas is outside. I know this for a fact. And you niggas, you act tough by default. You act like you them niggas by default, and you're not, because you did not have that same energy when real niggas was outside. When the Lions was outside, you niggas was pussycats. I know this. Hit the bomb. Fuck out of here. You can't get over on me. You can't get over on me. You the big homie's little brother. You the nigga who was peeing the bed when the big homie was alive. Stop fucking playing. You're wearing your older brother's clothes, nigga. Fuck out of here. You're using his rhyme book. Shit. You won't admit it, but I'll tell you to your face. You know what I'm saying? Stop it. Not over here. Go do that on some channel with niggas who were born after 9/11 who don't know the truth. Okay? Who don't know the truth. All you off-brand niggas. I'm not impressed. I know a fucking legend when I see one. I know an OG. You know what I'm talking about? You niggas are OZ. You came out when Oz was out. You're post Wire. You're post Omar from the Wire. You're post Boondocks. Fuck out of here. You got your gangster watching Boondocks. You niggas got woke watching fucking Riley on Boondocks. That's when you woke up. Try to act like you been here. Like your third eye been lit. You stop it. You know what I'm talking about? Don't let me act up. But anyway, Tupac came home. He started acting up. He put the Versace on. You know what I mean? And he was just too much for Biggie, bro. I'ma just keep it a buck. He was a little too much for Biggie. He was a little too rambunctious. He was a little too much in his bag. You know, Biggie is not the bragger. He don't have the same energy as Tupac. If you pay attention to both of them, they're both Geminis, but Biggie was more of he was a more of a laid back. He's a big dude. You know, he's laid back. If he wants to smoke his trees, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? He want Little Ken to play with his belly and whatnot. He wasn't that rambunctious as Tupac. Tupac was lit. Tupac was, he was a firecracker. Like he said in his rhyme, he was a hellraiser. You know what I'm talking about? He was a hellraiser. And that nigga's energy kind of overpowered the whole Biggie wave. And then he dropped Hit 'Em Up. and it was over after that. You know what I mean? Niggas in my hood try to stun on me. Real talk. You had these crypto Tupac lovers, because you got to understand, in Brooklyn you couldn't be on some Tupac shit until Hit 'Em Up came out, and then niggas had the bragging rights. You know what I'm saying? They had the bragging rights, and the whole game shifted. The whole game shifted, right? The whole game shifted, and then Pac started putting movies out. Um, well, most of those came out when he died. Bulletproof, the other one, gang related. But Machiavelli, right? Machiavelli, 7 Day Theory. Now, I remember if I brought AA on the show, we'd be able to laugh about this shit and attest. I remember because this was around the time Tupac had already died, right? Tupac had already died, right? Well, let me backtrack a little bit. Um, oh, Poetic Justice, right, right, Poetic Justice, Above the Rim, Birdie and whatnot, right? But was Above the Rim before he went to jail, right? Above the Rim was before he went to jail, if I'm correct, right? Um, so Pac gets shot, and we remember the Quad Studio shit. So even though that there was a beef going on, right? Juice is not in '96. Juice is out before he gets locked up, right? Am I? Juice comes out before he gets locked up, right? Like Juice is the movie that made us know that Tupac was a true actor, that he was a fucking talented actor, that he had a lot to offer, right? Juice is '91. Thank you, right? Thank you. Juice is. To be honest with you, that if there's a movie that embodied the energy of a pre '93 tunnel era, it would I would say that Juice captured New York in that whole era better than probably any movie of that time for New York. Uh, Coming of age. It's a coming of age movie. It's a period piece, right? It's a period piece that captures the that time. So niggas was on niggas was torn. They was torn because we loved Biggie, right? But inherently we knew that Biggie wasn't 100% exonerated. We knew that Biggie didn't get him lined up, right? Everybody in the streets knew who shot Tupac, right? The same way, allegedly, you niggas in LA knew who the fuck killed him and never said nothing, right? And we're gonna talk about that, you bird ass niggas. I hate you niggas for that, right? The fact that you niggas knew who killed them and you allowed this fake ass conspiracy to carry on, and nobody handled the business all of these fucking years. And we had to watch Vlad TV. We had to watch Vlad fucking TV to find out who killed Tupac Shakur. When you niggas on the West Coast knew all of these years, you niggas ain't do nothing. You know what I'm talking about? And you claim that you love Pac, but you niggas ain't do nothing. I don't respect that. I don't respect that. And then I come to find out who killed Biggie, and you niggas in New York didn't do nothing, and I don't respect that. He said I rely on Bed-Stuy to hold it down if I die, and they running around talking about, yeah, my man killed them. Everybody knew that. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me? But anyway, we're gonna get to that at the end. So niggas kind of knew that Biggie was not 100% in the right, in that whole situation. And then when this nigga said that he slept with his wife, hit him up, you know what I mean? And then Biggie didn't get back at him. It was like, damn. You know what I'm talking about? We felt like he was spitting at us. Like niggas took that personally. That was uncomfortable for a minute. You know, he took Get Money beat. Get Money was killing the clubs. That nigga he took his beat and bodied him on it. Yeah, that was a hard few months to get through. You know what I'm saying? And then when he got shot, you know, we thought that he was gonna bounce back. Nobody didn't think that he was gonna die. You know what I'm talking about? Um, Nobody think that he was gonna die. You know, niggas was like, he alright. You know, he just gonna come back and rap about it. You know what I'm talking about? Because he was seen as like at that point he was kind of seen as a fucking, you know, he was an anomaly. You know what I mean? Like this nigga done broke out of jail. He popped off. He got more lit in 1 year than some niggas they whole career. You feel me? He put out Hit 'Em Up. He went against a whole fucking coast. He came out with Death Row East. This nigga was in New York with the Death Row East t-shirts on. This nigga came at Nas. He came at Jay-Z. He came at Mobb Deep. He came at mad niggas. Niggas was like, this nigga's a fucking demon. He's on demon time. Like, he was becoming a whole fucking problem for everybody. Then, when we seen a nigga stomp homie out, don't say King Von is the Tupac of this generation. Rise and power to King Von, right? But let's not go there. Let's not go there. You know what I'm talking about? Let's not do that. I respect King Von and everything, but I can't necessarily say all of that. We no. But anyway, I spent all of this time explaining to you and running you down the ingredients, the qualities, the genome of a Tupac Amaru Shakur. I even had my brother from London. Shout out to my good brother across the pond. If my computer didn't fucking crash, I had a whole presentation and I was gonna read from a book that my good brother put out about Tupac. The shit is deeper than Lake Lanier, my nigga. You know what I'm saying? I was gonna give you the real rundown and give you. I'm just gonna really give you the fucking the true Panther. You know what I mean? The tenets of who this man was. You cannot compare everybody to him. Let's not do that. He's not a regular person. He's not a regular person, even though, like I said, I've said it before, King Von has messianic energy. He has Black Messiah energy. He was going to evolve and grow to be a fucking problem. I was gravitating towards him when I was in Atlanta. I knew one of the brothers who shot videos for me. He was shooting a King Von video. When he told me that he was shooting a King Von video, I was like, nigga, drop the address. I'm pulling up. He was like, yeah, they got guns and everything out here. I'm like, and? I'm not coming to drill the nigga. Drop the Addy. I'm pulling up. But he never did that. But I wanted to meet him because some things that I wanted to talk to him about, right? Yeah, the Muslim family, him and Dirk. Yeah, and much respect to him, much respect to Dirk, much respect to Big Dirk, much respect to the Shah and everything, right? But you know, let's keep Pac. Let's just keep him. Let's keep him in a more sacred space. and you know, not line them up with everybody right now. Respectfully, I'm just saying, let's just do that, please. So, somebody said King Von is comparable to Soldier Slim, and they try to compare Soldier Slim to Pac too. You know, yeah, Pac came at the BDs when they killed Yummy. You know what I mean? Pac was spitting at the BDs because of the thing that they did when they killed that 9 year old, and they almost popped off. You know what I mean? I remember that. Pac had words about Yummy, and when you see the Pac interview when he's locked up, he got the big picture of a young black child. That's Yummy from Chicago, who his own gang killed, his own gang drilled him and whatnot. 9 years old, was a killer at 9. Child soldiers, my nigga, different, different. Oh, you said Keefe D is lying? We got to talk about it then. Because at the end of the day, how the fuck could Keefe D go on Vlad TV in front of the world and just willingly lie and put out a book and nobody is stopping, nobody is countering that. Nobody is countering that. Nobody is saying, nah, that's cat. They're letting that shit fly. So he's like, Orlando killed Tupac. So you got a Blood killed Biggie allegedly. You got a Crip who killed Tupac. You got a Crip that killed King Von. You got Crips that killed Pop Smoke. What the fuck is going on with these gangs, bro? You got a Crip that killed Nipsey. You understand? So who's the fucking problem at the end of the day? All of the great rappers, all of the messianic rappers are being killed by Bloods and Crips. So back to the whole thing about Tupac. When Biggie found out that Tupac got killed, died, or succumbed to his injuries, Biggie got crippled, right? Biggie became crippled. Do you know that? Biggie became Little C's. I was hard as Ripple B until Little C's crippled me. Little C's crashed the car and that nigga went flying through the windshield, right? And broke his leg. Right. Somebody said Keefe did it and Orlando was the scapegoat. That's how I feel. Thank you. And if that's what you were saying, Jason, okay, I might understand that because there was 4 people in the car and 3 of them is dead. And Keefe D is like, yeah, Orlando did it, right? But I feel like Keefe did it. That's what my spirit told me. And the nigga who killed them might be walking around doing interviews with Vlad, and nobody is doing nothing about it. And he brought the deal with the feds, right? That's what Biggie had to cane when you see him in the motherfucking when you see him in the video hypnotized and he got the cane and whatnot. That's because he broke his leg because they said the spirit of Tupac came for that nigga the day that Tupac died, and he saw some shit, and that nigga flew out of the fucking front windshield. Little C, they said they seen a ghost or some shit, crashed the fucking Jeep, and that nigga went flying through the windshield the exact same day when this man made transition. And then went out there a few months later and got killed by Blood, according to a Vlad TV interview that's now coming out. And it wasn't the feds, and it wasn't a boogeyman. It was a whole Blood, and it was a hit that Shook put out. Right? He said he took the gun from Orlando and shot. Right? So you got people joining these gangs, and these gangs are killing all of the top rappers, right? Specifically the Crips. And they had us all of these years looking at the feds and the LAPD, and it's the fucking Crips behind all of these rappers. They killed Pop Smoke. They killed fucking King Von. They killed Tupac Amaru Shakur. You don't see a fucking pattern here? They killed Nipsey Hussle, my niggas. And when you take away all of these people and their contribution to their communities and to the game and to the culture, you see that they left a huge vacuum. And you niggas is cool with that? It's not, you don't see a problem in that? But anyway, said gangs are working for the feds. Shit, somebody working for them boys. Somebody is playing the other side. You said Russell Poole knew the truth and he died inside the precinct. Interesting. LAPD was involved. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. Well, we'll see. We'll see what comes through, you know? But that's the story that they putting on the boards for the whole world to hear until somebody completely shuts that shit down, right? And it seems like it's a whole campaign to basically throw the body on Orlando, right? It's a whole campaign to throw the body on Poochie when it comes to Biggie, and it's a whole campaign to throw the body on Orlando, right? Baby Lane. So, in hindsight, the epilogue, you know, when Tupac fell, the tower fell. Similar to what you saw in 9/11 when the towers fell. A whole tower fell. You feel me? A tower, energy, a pillar, right? And then a few months later, when Biggie fell, like how the second tower fell later on, that tower fell as well. And I don't even know who's building number 7, but it's another one of the greats. But after that other tower from New York, Christopher Wallace fell, nothing has been the same. Life goes on, but shit done changed and this paradigm has shifted. You know what I'm talking about? And towers are still falling to this day. You know what I mean? Towers are still falling to this day in front of all of our eyes. Life goes on, but shit done changed. And when these towers fall, you got to make sure, it almost diminishes things because it brings in a lower energy. You know what I mean? And that's exactly kind of what happened in hip hop. Even though the game changed, it brought in a lesser god. It brought in lesser gods. You know what I mean? It brought in a lower energy. The bar got lowered and more people started playing. And now they treat this shit like a hustle. It's no longer an art to be respected. You understand? Some of the legacy artists and whatnot, they even fell off and had to put themselves back on, you know what I mean? Get their minds right in order to start putting art back out because they even fell. They started trying to rap like they from down south. They started riding other people's waves and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? All of that shit, you know. So, in hindsight, on the 25th anniversary of this man's death day, and like I said, I remember the day I was coming out of the movie theater on 42nd Street. I was with a beautiful young lady by the name of Princess, and she's no longer with us. Rise and power to Princess. She is a hood legend, a super legend in Flatbush, um, you know, in her own rights. And it was like 3 in the morning and whatnot. We on 42nd Street. We about to go back to the hood. And if you remember, 42nd Street had the ticker, right, where the news be going around the building and whatnot on the digital ticker. And then I looked up and it said Tupac dead. And I was like, wait, what? And it said Tupac dead. Tupac died tonight. He succumbed to his wounds and shit. And I was like, no, that can't be. Like, Tupac can't die. And I went and looked at it. And then coincidentally, when I went to the newsstand, it was like 3 in the morning, but the newspaper was already there. And it had him on the front page. And that was the New York Post and whatnot. They had a picture of Tupac and they had a thing about Saddam Hussein right there in the corner, which ties the whole 9/11 thing. But anyway, and my heart sunk. My heart sunk. Princess started crying. You feel me? She started crying. She liked Pac. You know, she liked Pac. She was a gangster herself, so she gravitated to his energy, and she was crying. I didn't really cry, but I think I had some tears rolling down my cheeks. You know, and then we was hurt. You know what I mean? I can't even. I was just numb. You know what I'm talking about? I was numb, and after that, shortly after that, like I said, it was months after that, and I was in Brooklyn, and I was in Flatbush. I had a spot on Fenimore, and A. Rashid and my cousin Hassan, we were all in my crib and whatnot, smoking and shit, listening to hardcore, Little Kim's album, and then we was listening to Machiavelli, 7 Day Theory, right? And I must have played White Man's World because, like I said, you got to remember, me and AA and even Rashad, right? No, matter of fact, I think it was Billy, who is Nas Blicky's father, right? I think it was Hard Bottoms. And you got to remember, we're born from conscious parents. We're born from conscious parents. And back in those days and whatnot, everybody wasn't, it might have had 1% of our generation was on some conscious shit. So when I'm listening to Machiavelli and this shit is like super conscious for those days, right? It's street. He's getting at niggas, but he's also sprinkling all of that shit that, makes a thinking man think. And I was just so happy that I was able to hear something from him like that. There was the Tupac that I grew up remembering from Brenda's Got a Baby, right? The person that I admired from the gate when I seen him with the fucking ski hat, with the little choker chains and whatnot, with the bomber, you know what I'm saying? Talking about standing by the garbage can, talking about Brenda's Got a Baby. I wanted to, and the nigga who they carried out with the dashiki and the fucking, and the kufi on, with the peoples, with Digital Underground. I get been around the world, same song. So he did a complete full circle with the Machiavelli album because he went back to his roots. That's his most conscious album, right? That's his most conscious album. That's his most street conscious album. That album was almost like he made that right after he was making Strictly for My Niggas and all of that other shit that he started out with. Tupacalypse, Now, Strictly for My Niggas, the shit that had Bob Dole and uh, C. Dolores Tucker and all of these Time Warner niggas on his neck. Pause. Right? They was mad at him because he was militant, and then he backed up. And when he got into the gangster shit and some other, they backed off a little. They was dealing with, they was chasing fucking Luke Campbell and everything, but they was on Tupac's dick. They was on his nuts when he was talking that militant shit. That's what they was afraid of because he had that Messiah energy. He was messianic, and they knew who his mama was because all white people, even at the record labels, they always knew about the Panther 21. We didn't know about that shit. The hood didn't know about that shit. Niggas didn't know about it because we wasn't educated like that because niggas' parents was at lunch and too busy adhering to the fucking Peckerwoods and whatnot. You know what I mean? They wasn't informing us about real shit. You know what I'm talking about? We had to find out later on. But these crackers knew the judge, the PO, the motherfucking parole board, all of them knew who the fuck Afeni Shakur was. And Gave these, remember, she gave these niggas all of their charges back. She was acquitted. So he had to pay for the crimes of his parents. So when I heard Machiavelli, I cried like a baby, bro. I don't cry a lot, but I cry like a baby. I broke down because I felt the loss more so when I heard the album than when I found out that he had died and whatnot. When I heard what he was on, that's when I really felt the void. I felt the loss because I really realized what he was about to do, and they took him from us. You know what I'm talking about? These degenerate niggas took him from us. These knuckle dragging niggas took him from us. These fucking low life, these lower lives took that man from us. And I don't give a fuck about what he shouldn't have been doing. And he put his nose in gang business. You niggas is weak for that. Y'all supposed to have held that nigga down. Niggas make mistakes. You know what I'm saying? Go to war, hold him down. Fuck is you saying? You're not more important than Pac. They try to minimize him in hindsight when they talk about him. Oh yeah, that was gang business. He shouldn't have been in the way. No, nigga, he was a rider. He was riding. Fuck out of here. You know how he get down. You know you discipline him behind closed doors, not after he dies. You don't talk greasy about him after he dies like he, you know what I mean? Nah, my nigga. Shooter's gonna shoot. You know what I mean? He had enough shooters around him that if they was gonna shoot, they should have protected him. He's a hothead. You knew that. He was at a fucking Tyson fight. You know he's gonna show his ass. You know? You niggas is not MOB if that's how y'all move. That's not mob. That's not mafia. Fuck out of here. But anyway, I digress. Greatest rapper of all time. He fits the bill. That was him. There's no other. You could never come up with anything other. You know, you know, nothing will ever compare. You know what I mean? Let's never talk that Jay-Z shit again. You know what I mean? And salute to all of the artists and whatnot, but nothing will ever compare to who that man was. Straight like that. And that's outside of the music. I'm just saying what his mama created, what he stood for. He was unbalanced. He might have been balanced. He was a little bit of an anti-hero. He was a little bit of hero. You know, Dear Mama, Brenda's Got a Baby, but he was also I Get Around and all of that other slick shit. You know what I'm talking about? He defined a whole generation. He raised you niggas a lot. He taught a lot of people how to be real men. He helped a lot of fatherless young men get through their rites of passage. He held down a lot of niggas behind bars with his music. You know what I mean? His poetry speaks to us. And when it's even time to go ride and spin the block, he got music for that as well. He got warrior music. You know what I'm talking about? He has music that make you think. You feel me? He has music that you could tell is coming from his heart chakra. You know what I mean? He's an all around crazy. He's an all around talented and gifted artist in every sense of the word, right? He exemplifies the premier artist of our generation, even though he was not perfect and none of us are. The hate you gave little infants fucks everyone, okay? The hate you gave little infants fucks everyone. He is the hate that hate produced. You understand? He is the hate that hate produced, right? So he lives in us. Pieces of him, it lives in us, right? His words, it lives in us. In our veins, some of the courage that he stood for, because you know that he was still scared, but he fought through that shit. You could look in his eyes and could tell when he was afraid. He wasn't always, you know, we want to lionize him, but we don't want to make any human being into something that they're not. He was scared at times, you could tell, but he fought through that shit. He pushed through it. He was more of a warrior than a worrier. You feel me? More of a warrior than a worrier. He lived in his head. Super talented. His work ethic is unlike any other that you've seen in the game before. He showed you that it's about leaving behind a legacy, right? There's no time to sleep. You sleep when you're dead. Keep recording, keep creating, keep making classics. You're going to die one day. The fucking classics are going to outlive you. You know what I mean? Keep your masters. Keep your fucking rights to your face and your name and whatnot so your progeny or your mama and everybody else who claim that they love you could live off of that shit. Or if there's nobody left, at least your motherfucking art can outlive you and you become an immortal, thug immortal. He wouldn't have been immortalized if he didn't have material. You know what I'm saying? If there's a window open, climb through that bitch. You know what I mean? Don't chase the motherfucking white rabbit. Stop trying to sit around. Nobody is lit forever. You play Mario. Remember when you got the fucking star and you start blinking and whatnot? The infinite shit, that shit wore off. The pixie dust wears off of everybody. Nobody's forever lit. You know what I mean? When you get lit, when you get on, my nigga, remember it's an expiration date. You're a fucking carton of milk. You're gonna spoil one day. So while you're lit, take full advantage of it and fuck the world. You understand? Like Scarface said, fuck the world. You know what I mean? Bust a nut. You know what I'm talking about? Take full advantage. Get up in that bitch. You know what I'm saying? Spread your seeds. Meaning, create, plant your seeds, make connections, make friendships, build bridges. You feel me? Go places, see the world, work with other artists around the world, give people a chance, light their fire, give them the motherfucking spark. The same way if somebody turned you on and put you on, put others on. That's what I learned when I studied Tupac. That's when I see he had the Outlaws. He put them on. These are young brothers. You didn't know their names. He put them on. He wanted to build bridges with artists from the East Coast, One Nation, Death Row East. He put them on. He wanted to build bridges. He wanted to create camaraderies and whatnot. You feel me? He recorded nonstop like he knew he was going to be gone soon. At 25. At 25, he lived a life up until 25 that some niggas have not lived and they're 55. No offense to them. You know what I'm saying? Some people, their shit is more compacted and whatnot, but he lived his life. Don't cry for him. He lived his life and he knew that he wasn't going to be here forever. And none of us are supposed to be, none of us are guaranteed to be here forever. You know what I'm saying? This is a fucking pit stop. We got bigger and better things to do. Nigga, I'm lit on Saturn right now. Fuck is you talking about? They're waiting for me on Saturn. You know what I'm talking about? I got a throne on Saturn. This is a pit stop, nigga. This is Malkuth. To be honest with you, nigga, this is the basement. This is the basement. Don't get comfortable on the earth, nigga. This is the basement. Okay? This shit is the basement. This ain't it. But while you're here, you could become an icon. You could become an immortal. If you have the opportunity, especially if you got melanin, turn up, niggas. Real talk. I'm going to go and get my computer fixed, and I'll be back at you. You know what I mean? I'm making a move. You know, if you don't see me on Thursday, you'll see me on Monday. I'm making a life move and whatnot, a big move. I'm moving my family across country lines and whatnot. So I'm going to be in transition. Like I said, we got the special still popping. You feel me? And we also have a lecture coming up. So I got to be in the lab studying. And then after that, I'm taking a break. I'm going to be out of here for probably like a month because I got work to do. You know what I'm saying? And I got moves to make. You know what I mean? Because this is no longer playtime. You feel me? Shit is real out here. And they not playing with niggas anymore. And I'm paying attention. You know what I'm saying? I'm not lollygagging and I'm not sitting on my ass. So this is coming up at the end of the month. All right. I need y'all to get y'all tickets for that. This is going to be solution based. But in the meantime, we got a bundle for you. You know what I'm talking about? I ain't talking about that silky Hawaiian either. I'm talking about these solutions, my niggas. That bundle, that Thrive and Strive bundle pack on for 24 more hours. Get at me, get that while the getting is going. And I'll holla. Love and light. Peace.